We'll take it from there. I say, my man, I only buy for the same leisure.
Then how can the police people catch you now?
The police people, before the man call me back, now on the 18th, they more.
The same man now?
Yeah, the same man.
The same man who want for you to go steal?
Yeah, he call me on the 18th.
Yeah.
Now in the 9, around about 8:30, the man call me. He said, oh, my man, I'll let you be there and call you back again.
So that time you go to work?
I go to work.
You live from your working place, you come to the man?
Yeah, I'm from to my working area to Clarence to now go to the man.
To go steal now?
No, I'm not go steal. I go steal. I go to yeah. How you question me, man? The thing you want for me to explain for you to understand, then you still questioning me, doubling the question. How many talk clear now?
Okay, let's go now. I beg you, sorry.
I say.
When they call you in the night now.
When the man call me in the night.
Yeah.
He asked me, say, how many of you are working to the area? I say, we are 3.
You told the message you're 3?
Yeah. So he said, I want to give you tea to carry to
the message you want to give you what?
Tea. Hot milk tea. Hot milk tea.
Oh, milk tea?
Yeah.
For you to drink?
With bread.
The bread?
3 pieces of sugar bread.
With egg inside?
With egg inside, my butter. So, when I carry it to the man, say, carry to the man. When you give it to the man, then you must come back to the car.
So the food man give you now, you carry that so you can go convince your friend now.
Yeah. When I give it to the man, the man say, thank you. I say, okay. The man say, oh, where you going now? I say, oh, I'm going right here. So one of my friends called me.
Yeah, the same man you going to now?
Yeah, the same man.
And the man tell you say, he want for you to go steal.
No, yeah. So when I go to the man, he say, clean the car. Then they are 2 now.
In the Jeep?
In the Jeep. Then they are 2.
A big Jeep?
Yeah. Black BG. 4 doji.
4 doji.
Yeah. So when I clean the car now,
air condition all inside?
No. Papa, you can't wait for me to spin now. I'll leave the whole town now. You can judge people.
I just asking you a question, sorry.
You can judge people like you come here. No,
I'm a journalist. I beg you, sorry.
The way you double in the question, because I say when I move from here, I'll free. You say when I move from here, I'll free. You say one talk again. I wanted to make a whole talk clear to you, but you double in the question. Hi, land looking, hi, looking. Then you want force another more word there again. Why not be looking to the top? I'm not going to talk again. And said they call me to the office. I go explain.
I think you explain to me that you come to get. You say you carry tea to the man. After you carry tea to the man, you come now. So what next now?
For me, I will not ver.
Nobody, you getting very. You say asking you too much question. Hey, just explain things. Say they make your egg and bread. You bring it. Okay, sorry. Now I say sorry now. Okay, sorry.
If you,
okay, I will not ask you the question again. Okay, sorry.
When I give you answer now, then you.
Okay. Explain again. I'm not asking you no more question again. Okay, let's go ahead now.
Go to school. The English say I need the English.
Okay, sorry. Now I say sorry now. Sorry.
Say Ali, you take time. You take time.
I'm taking time. Okay, sorry. Okay.
I said I can take time
to explain. Yeah, okay.
27th May 2025. This is the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. My name is Julius J. Welcome. It is a running day here at 5 p.m. Some group of Liberians led by a stand of Moba Molu have been pushing forth a campaign saying or staging a protest for the 17th of July to call the attention of the government to a whole lot of things protected by the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. They believe the time is ripe to send a message to the government to change course for the better. We will have some executives of the group here, some are overseas as well, to tell us exactly what are the issues. What is the protest about? Why should Liberians come out? That's at 5 p.m. Liberia, from a few years back to present, has been pushing to become a member of the Security Council to represent Africa. A foreign service think tank will be here who will know about them, and they will also tell us why is this necessary, what role can all of us play, how is it good for our country. 4:15. A whole lot has been said about roads by this government. A major claim was reportedly made by the Public Works Minister on Class Reloaded last night about some funds being reportedly, allegedly expended by the previous administration that was supposed to go towards the Ganta to Zweju Road. How true is this? Did they really do it? What does the evidence say? Joseph Todd, former Deputy Public Works Minister, will be here at 3:30. That's exactly what it looks like. What roles did they set in motion that they left behind? What did they meet there? What did they leave behind? And what is this thing? Did they use World Bank's money or what? That led to the stalling of the road, if it was stalled at all. So that's what the OK conversation looks like on today. Yes, that's what it is, and this is where we go next, right here, right now. What's making news? Senegal's Special Anti-Corruption Court has indicted Amadou Mansour Faye, a former minister and brother-in-law of ex-president Macky Sall, for allegedly embezzling over $4.6 million in public funds. He becomes the fifth official from the previous administration to face charges. The High Court of Justice, which handles cases against former government officials, denied him bail and ordered his detention. President Bassirou Diomaye Faye launched a sweeping anti-corruption campaign, which has already seen two other former ministers jailed last week. South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa says his administration has invited U.S. President Donald Trump to send a delegation to South Africa to explore opportunities for deepening investment and trade relations. You hear that? That's how you go to the table. It comes after last week's Ramaphosa's visit to the Oval Office and in a widely criticized ambush by Trump, who confronted Ramaphosa with allegations of white genocide. Despite the tense engagements, Cyril Ramaphosa says his visit was successful, describing the strained relationship with the U.S. as largely a result of misinformation. Okay? And Zimbabwe's President Emmerson Mnangagwa has signed into law a contentious bill that requires all motorists to buy a radio license before acquiring vehicle insurance. I will explain if you did not understand that, but let me read further. There has been an outcry from some motorists as they will now have to pay $92 annually in order to listen to the radio in their vehicles. The introduction of the measure is part of a plan to widen revenue sources for the state broadcaster, but critics say the license fee is too high, especially given the difficult economic situation. But you can see that it is an attempt to clamp down on free speech. So if you're listening to me, Tessie, in your car, in your keke, and all that, your motorbike, in Zimbabwe now, they pass law. Like every year, every car with radio inside, for you to play your radio in your car, in your keke, you pay $92 US every year for it. So it is even more than the driver's license we pay for here. Yeah, $92 to play the radio in your car. What are they simply trying to say? If you have the radio there, you take it from there. Yeah, you take it from in the car. But once it's there, they will force you. They're forcing you to pay that money. It is a form of. So maybe you're going to register your car, you remove your radio from inside. It is to say they don't want people hearing a whole lot of what's happening in the country. That's the whole thing behind that. When you get in taxi, you hear a lot. You'll be listening to talk shows and all of that. People like Julius talking so, talk this other one, reveal this other one. What a country. How do you do that? But that's why it is there, you know. But let's hold it. Let's move on now to this. Let's take our break with some of our sponsors. When we come back, we'll talk a few quick things before our guest comes in. Shortly he will be entering here. So let's take these three. Later on, we'll take the other ones. This is the OK Conversation on OK FM 99.5.
Hey, they're rushing. Why are you rushing to so?
You, Judy, don't give me a hard time, man. I'm going to the bank to get my cash because the bank was so close.
You can use the ATM?
My ATM card expired ever since.
My man, you don't need ATM card. Just use the mobile app and generate an e-token. All you have to do is to just log on the app, you click on Express Cash. Then you select ATM. From there now you select Generate e-token. Then you select the account you want the money to come from. From there you select the currency that you want. If they're Liberian dollars or US dollars. Then you put in the amount that you want, whether $10 or $20, you put it in and generate your e-token. It's simple, like 8 numbers that will come to you. When you get that number, just go to any ATM name. All you have to do is to just select the C Express Cash on the ATM now. The place where you're supposed to put your ATM pin, that way you pull that 8 number. Then it will ask you for the amount. That money where you generated, that money will come with the ATM will pay you.
So simple. Echo Banners for me again. Oh. I will always make use of the Express service big time. Echo Bank, the Pan-African Bank.
Y'all pay attention. All of us that can use the road. If you're driving or using motorbike or even keke, if you're in a city or even on a highway, it's very important to know the rules of driving. The simple rules that can keep all of us safe. You must always wear your seatbelt. But rather, you and the person behind you must always wear your helmet. And rather, don't forget your reflective jacket. Speeding is general good because your life and that of the loved one may be inside too. Don't speed, even if you're in a city or on a highway. Don't drink or take in any substance before driving. So if you drink alcohol, don't drive. Or if that you driving, don't drink. Don't overload a car. It can lead to serious accident. Look for the red light and stop sign. Don't be close behind the other car on the road. Always stay far behind the car in front of you. It will give you more time to know what to do. If the car in front of you just stop jelly down. Always show the signal sign so the other driver then can know what you want to do. No texting, no calling, no setting the radio while driving. Keep your eyes on the road and your hands on the wheel. All the thing here will look simple, but it can change in no time when you're not paying attention. Drive safe, be focused, and respect the rules of the road.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Transport with funding from the National Road Fund of Liberia. Thanks for watching.
The Banking Institute of Liberia and the Central Bank of Liberia presents Phase 2 of its Professional and Business Development Training Program for 2025. For more professional training programs, the Institute offers the following courses: Banking and Finance, Audit and Internal Controls, Procurement and Supply Chain Management, Digital Banking and Financial Management, Monitoring and Evaluation, Compliance and Corporate Risk Management, Human Resource Management, Customer Relationship Management, Public Accounting and Finance, Project Planning and Marketing, Work Planning and Report Writing, Office Administration and Management. These professional training programs target degree holders and graduating seniors from accredited universities and runs for 7 months, certificates for 3 months and diploma for 4 months. The fee for professional training program at certificate level is US $275. Courses we offered for business development training programs are business accounting and microfinance management, entrepreneurship and small business management, and office administration and business communication. The business development program training targets high school graduates, college students, or graduates and SME operators for just $205 only. All fees are payable in 3 installments: 50% upon registration, 30% before the midterm project, and 20% before the final project. Registration begins May 19 to June 27, 2025, and orientation is scheduled for July 4th. For more information, please visit the office of the Banking Institute of Liberia at Warren and Kerry Streets intersection, beginning Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. or email us biltrainingdepartment@gmail.com. You can also call or WhatsApp on +231 777 194025. Pay less and learn from the best financial management training institute in Liberia.
Attention all small business owners in Liberia. Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Introducing Accelerate 360, the program designed to boost your access to financing and expand your market reach. Over the next 3 years, Accelerate 360 will support 165 SMEs like yours. The program also includes business development service providers who have applied to be selected for the program. Don't miss this opportunity to grow your business and make a lasting impact. Visit our website at www.accelerateliberia.com or call 0771 360 360. Accelerate 360, empowering Liberia's entrepreneurs one business at a time. Accelerate 360 is sponsored by the Government of Liberia through the Ministry of Commerce and Industry and the World Bank under the LIFT project.
Welcome back. The OK Conversation is right here on OKFM 99.5. Just posted by the U.S. Embassy Monrovia. Let's read this very quickly. Coming out of them. It says the United States, through the Department of Defense's overseas humanitarian disaster assistance and civic aid, that's ODACA program, has donated over $150,000 in advanced endoscopic equipment to the Armed Forces of Liberia's 14th military hospital. This high-tech equipment will enable AFL medical teams to diagnose and treat serious conditions, including cancer, using minimally invasive procedures. U.S. military medics from the Michigan National Guard also visited the 14th military hospital last week, reinforcing Liberia's ability to deliver high-quality care and respond to future medical needs. This is about building capability, not dependency. The U.S.-Liberia partnership is shifting from aid to trade, advancing security, stability, and self-reliance. Are these not the things I've been talking about? Yeah, he's coming in 3:30. The guys is coming in 3:30. Yeah, so you see, Small. We are getting there. That's exactly what it should be. So thanks to the U.S. government for the donation of this equipment that can be used to treat a whole lot of diseases, including cancer. Someone says, well, the price to play the radio is more than the radio price. Yeah. Now, quickly, let's go to Europe. My guys will put the pictures up quickly. He's putting that up very, very quickly. The Liberian ambassador to he's what they call ambassador extraordinary and plenipotentiary to the Portuguese Republic. So he's the ambassador to France, to Portugal, and to other places. He has presented his letters. We're talking about Dr. Tico Toze Yole Sr. He has presented his letters of credence to His Excellency Marcelo Rebelo de Souza, President of Portugal. You see the pictures there. You see him together with the Portuguese president, marking the beginning of a renewed chapter in Liberia-Portugal relations. Speaking at the presidential palace in Lisbon, Ambassador Yole expressed deep gratitude for the warm hospitality extended to him and his delegation upon their arrival from Paris. He delivered heartfelt greetings on behalf of His Excellency President Joseph Numa Boakai, the government and people of Liberia, conveying their admiration and goodwill to the Portuguese president, government, and citizens. Reflecting on the long-standing partnership between Liberia and Portugal, Ambassador Yole praised the enduring friendship built on mutual respect, democratic values, and shared democratic goals. He acknowledged Portugal's pivotal role in supporting Liberia's post-war recovery through European Union, describing the relationship as a testament to what countries can achieve when united by a vision for peace and prosperity. With the launch of the Arrest Agenda for Inclusive Development under President Boakai's leadership, the ambassador noted, Liberia is charting a new course, prioritizing agriculture, roads, rule of law, education, sanitation, and tourism. We see Portugal not only as a friend but as a potential partner in this national journey. He talked a whole lot of other things. And so that is what happened when the Liberian ambassador to France, to Portugal, and to other places presented his letters of credence. You know, he's a new ambassador. So when a new ambassador goes to another country, they do that. They call it a presentation of letters of credence. Also, what are you looking for here? Okay, so we also know that President Joseph Boakai has departed the country for Nigeria to attend the ECOWAS 50th anniversary. Yep, that's happening in Abuja, and the president is expected to be there. We also know that the finance minister has led the Liberian delegation to the 2025 annual meetings of the African Development Bank in Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire. They will discuss issues about elections, institutional building, and water security. We also know that a World Bank delegation has arrived in the country to advance West African single digital market integration. You know, there's one money to be used in the sub-region that you can buy with it. You can transact with it in Liberia, in Ivory Coast, in Guinea, in Sierra Leone, in Gambia, in Senegal, in Nigeria, in Ghana, in Togo, in Benin, and so many of these other countries. They're here. They keep talking about this. We want to see it coming into fruition, and we hope it does. Yep. So there's a confession made by the House Speaker, the new House Speaker, Richard Nangbe. We're not going to do that today. We'll leave that. Tomorrow we'll handle that. We'll play it. We'll do some analysis around it. Now, before we move on to other things, so I got some information last night that started to make me feel somehow. I was like, wow, how do we continuously do this to ourselves? Do you know that Liberia was supposed to have a representative of ECOWAS to another country? So it's like, so the president of the ECOWAS Commission is like the president, the chief executive of ECOWAS, and they can have their ambassadors to the different West African countries that are part of ECOWAS, and to other places. So D. Maxwell Kimaya was one of those tipped to have represented ECOWAS in Sierra Leone. Right at the end of the Weah regime, he was foreign minister, giving his workings and relations with ECOWAS and what he did. They felt that he was fit enough, he was good enough to represent the regional body to Sierra Leone. And for some interesting reason, the new government, which is now this government, wrote against. So ECOWAS saw this Liberian citizen and say, we think you're fit enough to be our ambassador to Sierra Leone and all of that. The modalities were already worked out and everything else. Then the government said, no, that our citizen, he's not correct. Yeah, so we don't think it's okay for you people to send him. Right? Well, ECOWAS doesn't want to really be seen as, fighting back and forth here and there. So they said, okay. So they did not send Maxwell Kimaya again. But you know what the news is? A Ghanaian has now been given that position. John Azuma is going to now be, or he has already been chosen as the ECOWAS ambassador to Sierra Leone. We already have a Ghanaian who is the ECOWAS ambassador to Liberia here. We have nationals of other countries who are ambassadors. And it is an office, a big ECOWAS office in every country. It gives leverage to citizens to recommend people for employment. We already have plenty in the ECOWAS setup as a country. But we fight ourselves. And perhaps that's the same thing we want to do to Senator Snow too. Fire, man, too influential, we'll take it from that. Every country wants to have influential people in ECOWAS. Why can't you work with people who are there, even if you think they're in opposition? A president can always find a way to work with those people. I remember last year when I went to Nigeria, and President Bouaka the same way was going for the ECOWAS Head of State Summit. So the parliamentarians, our lawmakers that are there, they were not told, no one invited them, They were not told about when the president was going to arrive in Nigeria. That information came late after an ECOWAS parliamentary summit. I remember I was in the bus, the bus was taking us to my hotel and all of that. I remember Senator Snow calling and said he had just received the information that the president was arriving that day. Even though the executive arm of the government did not invite them there and blah, blah, blah. Said, but we have to be there, have to welcome the president. Our president, have to show the unity and all of that. They came and picked me up. He was the one driving. He was driving. Because the information came late, they could not get another car. Me, together with all the lawmakers, we were cramped up. And that is one car, he drove it. Because not every car could go to the presidential side because it was a presidential terminal. And we went. So to make it appear this person hits, I'm not sure you will hit President Bouaka and want to make the country look ugly. I am waiting for the Liberia country report. I'm seeing all of the country reports. I'm in this big group chat of media people who are connected to the ECOWAS parliament, and they're posting if a country is delivering its report today, they post. I'm seeing all the country reports from Nigeria, from everything else. When they put Liberia's on there, I will read it. It is to give an exact understanding of what's happening in your country. You don't embellish. You don't try to make it fun. But of course, the report is usually positive. And they will ask hard questions about your country. Anything they hear, anything they've read on the news about your country, they will ask the lawmakers, why you did not include this, why this, and blah, 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 blah. They do that. The point I'm trying to make is, we are not plentiful already. We can keep fighting each other. We we lost an ECOWAS ambassadorial post that could have given us more jobs. Yeah? Because if Kimaya is in the office, the person that may be a chief of staff may be a Liberian. So other people could work there as they will be Liberians. They will do something back home. But we did not think about it that way. We said, like, oh, the man that job we have, man, for him. So we fought him as a country. We fought our citizen. He did not get the job. Then a Ghanaian got it. So Ghana now has 2 Ghanaians who are ECOWAS representatives. It is the only country that has 2 now because our slot that we're supposed to get, we should have put up, we're not ready. So we lost it. Is it fair? Put all your politics aside. Is it fair to ourselves the way we can sometimes make ourselves appear? We have to stop this. Sometimes there are places where we need to work together, and I've seen it. Work together despite our differences. People have their positives and negatives, but when it comes to the country's image out there, how we project it, let's always try to be positive. It's going to be a good thing for all of us. Okay. Tomorrow we'll have a whole lot to talk. But we have with us Mr. Todd. That's Joseph Todd, right?
Joseph Todd.
Okay. Former Deputy Minister for
Public Works Administration.
Good. Just come closer to the microphone. How has life been since you, over a year now, you've been out of Public Works Ministry? What are you doing?
Yeah, Jeff, good afternoon to you and good afternoon to our listening audience out there. Good afternoon to our people in the counties. And it has been a good life. Before we came to government, we were living. And after government, we're still living and doing great things for our communities, for ourselves, for our families, for friends. Still working hard to get things going.
Well, we had to pull you over here today because there's always going to be this thing between Unity Party and CDC issue of projects. Who started this and who's doing this and who's continuing this? Oh, the other put this other money and all those kinds of allegations will always be around both of you governments. So it was important to pull you in. First of all, I want you to honestly give us an idea. Did you become Deputy Public Works Minister in 2018?
Exactly.
Okay, give us an idea of roads that were being done by the Unity Party government then, that your government inherited, continued. Give us an idea first of all.
All right, Julius, thank you. That's a brilliant question. So my memory can vividly tell me that when we came to government, a lot of the projects that you're hearing about that Unity Party did, we have to start it all over again. Starting with negotiation, starting with project arrangement, starting with setting up offices and all of that and what have you.
Let us start with the ones that were in motion, that were started, or were there road projects that were started?
Oh yeah, sure. So I remember we inherited the road from Coconut Factory, Banga up to Ganta. It was in maintenance stage. They done that road. I remember during the campaign, there was this. She's our mother. She's our grandmother. But there was this.
What about the Japanese freeway?
So I'm coming there.
Okay.
So there was this groundbreaking ceremony that took place in Banga during the heat of the election that had to do with Banga Salaye. But like I said, I mean, if you go back to the Ministry of Public Works and look at details, documents, it will tell you that that whole project was rediscussed, was revamped, was reorganized. Okay, coming to what you're talking about, Freeport to Raleigh. Yes, we made that corridor.
I can remember one side was already done, and the other side
was in progress. We made it and continued the one side and completed the one side, and then we did the second side of it. So far, so good, except you correct me later on in the midst of the program, but those are the projects I can remember that we really actually inherited.
what about the road from Maryland to River G? I think there was some pavement started from the Maryland end to come to River G.
Precisely. We inherited that. We inherited the pavement from the corridor from Harper coming to Fishtown. All right. So we inherited that project. Pavement was ongoing between Harper to Plebo. We made that in progress. We also made from Kavala Junction to Kavala. It was also in progress. We made it, and we like I said, we have to vigorously take on them to make sure they are completed. And we didn't make any fuss about it, and we did what we could do for the Liberian people in our corridor.
Okay. Now, which ones did you set? Which major roads did you set in motion, and you left in motion before you left government?
Thank you. So if you look at the corridor between Robertsfield, let's start with Maserado, right? Mm-hmm. In Maserado. If you look at the corridor from Eadere Junction that was starting named Ewa Junction to RIA, that road was initiated by His Excellency the former President George Weah. All the community roads were also initiated. I'm talking about Eadere community, Rehab community. I'm talking about Virginia. I'm talking about across Claratown, going towards the Mid-Japan Freeway, passing through Duke community. I'm talking about Marco Francis Road. I'm talking about all the roads that were paved in the rehab communities. And you just name them. And then we also, like I said, we also initiated the pavement of the road from Freeport to Gabriel Tucker Bridge. We initiated that. We initiated the pavement of the road from Gabriel Tucker Bridge to Freeport, meaning Gabriel Tucker Bridge, Freeport.
When you say initiate, what does that mean? What did you do?
Meaning we
I'm asking because Minister Giddens has been saying that they've been negotiating with the Japanese to. Are you talking about the bridge right? The bridge right?
Yeah, Gabriel Tucker.
To
Freeport.
To Freeport. He has been talking about them negotiating with the Japanese. So what did you initiate on that road?
So that corridor. Listen, when the Japanese completed phase 2 of the project from Freeport to Red Line, that corridor needed serious attention. We, as a government, the government engaged the Japanese government, and that engagement was very fruitful. At the end of the day, it culminated into securing the fundings. It culminated into discussing.
Did you secure the funding already?
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure.
Do you remember what the amount is?
I may not have the figure of here, but the funding was secure. Those are documents that cannot have. Those are documents that are readily available at the Ministry of Public Works, except somebody just want to play politics. Not in that. We took on the road from Freeport to Gabriel Tucker. As a matter of fact, works started. MDMC mobilized.
No, that's from Freeport to
Gabriel Tucker.
Bomb mines, not Gabriel Tucker. Now. You mean because Gabriel Tucker is the one, right?
Gabriel Tucker, yeah, Freeport St. Paul.
Oh yeah, St. Paul.
From Freeport St. Paul Bridge.
Okay.
That corridor mobilization was completed, and actual works started. Groundbreaking took place, and work started in actuality.
Okay. Now, what? Let us welcome Assistant Minister Chesson, former Assistant Minister Chesson, who was also at the ministry. You can wear the headphone before I put you on before it creates that feedback. Okay, good. Welcome.
Thank you, Julius. Thank you.
Okay. We thought it was important to bring you all here and have an understanding of some of these things that are being said. Let's go to Nimba.
Very good.
Which roads did you do in Nimba?
Thank you. So we have to put Nimba into proper context so that the Liberian people can understand exactly what former President George Weah and his cabinet did between the corridor, the entire Nimba. Because Nimba was completely cut off from the rest of the countries, were completely cut off from the rest of the county except Bon County, where we have paved road. And so the corridor, the famous corridor between Ganta, Sakepe, Tapeta, Totan, and then Zedru.
No, let us leave that one. Let's go to Ganta to what's the border?
Logwato. So, the corridor between Ganta to Logwato. So your first Ganta Senekole and then Senekole Logwato, right? So the corridor between Ganta to Senekole, that corridor was being done by a Senegalese company, and that corridor was initiated. They had some discussion ongoing, we must admit, right? They had some discussion ongoing. And when we got in as a government, the government took it on.
Who had some discussions ongoing?
The former regime, former President Eddie Johnson Sirleaf.
Okay.
They had some discussion ongoing. And when we took over...
Did they secure funding?
Well, yes, I can say they did. They did, but not completed. All right? Because guess what? Now, the corridor from Senekole to Yekepa, because that corridor, that project is all linked, right? That corridor was completely renegotiated. So, but let me say this. Julius, Liberia has been faced with road challenge, with all weather road challenge from time immemorial. If you can recall in this country, when we were boys coming up, we always used to hear about Ganta Harper Highway under the Dole regime. Prior to the Dole regime, the Toba regime, the same thing. Those governments did what they could, but they never took it off from the ground. Like Eddie did some negotiations. She did well. She negotiated. And at the end of the day, the regime of former President George Weah made sure for those projects to kick off. Let me just explain the scenario. Look,
because I was on the logo. I've been on the Logwato road for 2-3 times now, and I've seen that the entire thing is paved. There are some portions that they should go back over it, and the residents that say it was paved before the 2023 December ended.
Exactly.
It is the bridges to connect the portions. The bridges are already done. It is to connect those portions. There are some issues with people writing against the company, but how come we didn't know? Let me come to you, Jeff. That entire stretch was paved. How come we didn't know?
Okay, so I know you're talking about the San Quelle to look at tour. Okay, and the fact is that we knew, we talked about it over and over, that this road.
Yeah, please focus on the map so we hear you better.
That this road funding was secured under the CDC-led government, and construction took place under the CDC-led government. The San Quelle to look at tour is about 47.1 kilometers, and out of that 47.1 kilometers, over 25 kilometers already paved before election. So that just few works needed to be done on that corridor to be completed. We had this small problem with the contractor, which Minister Todd talked about, and that problem was, resolved because it was a tricky issue, and the leadership of the ministry had to handle that problem with the contractor. But
what was the problem?
A performance issue.
Okay.
So the ministry ensured that they performed. So, Julius, every project that is ongoing now in this country, 99.9% of the funding was secured under the CDC-led government. So every project that's ongoing, no propaganda can change that. Nobody can rewrite the history on that. In road construction and electricity, the CDC government secured funding for 10 years in electricity. Expansion, every work done in electricity was secured under the CDC-led government. Every contract that has been implemented now under this government, the funding was secure. Most of the contract was signed, and projects started under the CDC-led government.
So before you come in, Julius, so let me just go back to the Senekole Lokwatu, right? So the problem Jeff is talking about, that was project management issue.
Exactly.
And the issue at our level, it was handled. But let me just say this. Do you know that even up to now, this government, do you know that even up to now, this government hasn't done a pin on a road?
Yeah.
Since we left?
I spoke with the public works minister.
Since we left?
No, hold on, sir. I spoke with the public works minister. I spoke with the superintendent of NIMBA, and what they said was, by the close of 2023 or so, or 2024, whatever it is, some group wrote against the company that they were involved in some stuff. So the funders decided to put a halt. But the road is almost entirely paved except for the portions around bridges, because the bridges are also done. It's just to link the bridges to the pavement of the road. And then from Campley to Logwatuo, I think there is another layer that is required to go over that pavement.
Overlay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
To reach the actual thickness of the road.
I have been there and I observed everything. There are like between 7 to 10 portions around bridges from Sanikwele to Logwatuo that need to be paved around to complete.
Yeah, so actually, it's the approaches.
1 minute, right?
Yeah.
So
The approaches need to be, joined. That's all.
Again, those were contract management issues. And those issues were taken care of substantially. So how many years it would take Unity Party to just negotiate those contract management issue? It's not in that role. Speak to the Public Works Minister and the team at the Minister of Public Works. Now a single project under the African Development Bank project, finance project, has moved an inch since we left power.
Let us move to the reason why I invited you people here.
Yes.
One of the most important roles is the Ganta to Hapo, the Ganta to Zweju now, and all of that. Give us a full history of Ganta to Saklepie to Tapeta to Zweju.
Thank you. So let me just take the lead, and Jeff will support me with additional information. All right? So when we came to power, there was this secret arrangement between the former government of Madam Eddie Johnson Sirleaf and the World Bank. And that agreement calls for the road pavement, insetment. And so the agreement, it was difficult to be implemented because there were clauses in that agreement that had to do with the road fund money, fundings from the road fund being used as a collateral, as a guarantee to attract private sector investors. Because the World Bank was not prepared to put in their own money. So they brought in the model where you needed to have the private sector working with the government of Liberia, like a PPP arrangement, working with the government of Liberia to develop roads. And so when we came to power, the president, he showed that, look, these things cannot just be on the book and we'll be discussing it from time immemorial. He remembered vividly, according to him, that when he was a boy, that Ganta, Tapeta, Maryland corridor has been discussed from time immemorial, and no action, no practical action in terms of actual works were being done. And so he wanted to understand, the team wanted to understand exactly what were the layers of problem or obstacle that were stored in this project from starting. And in the discussion, some of these things came about. In the first place, the road fund was talked about, the road fund act was passed, and all of that and what have you, but the road fund itself was non-functional. The office of the road fund never existed before the inception of the CDC government. And so after the road fund office was set up, the government now needed to be very proactive, very innovative in ensuring that things of the past, mistakes of the past are not repeated. And so the government negotiated with the World Bank and said, look, we are in the midst of COVID. It will be difficult to be able to mobilize private sector fundings to come and invest in our road sector. In fact, the traffic count, the volume of revenue going to the road fund was not sufficient to be able to use as a collateral to attract the kind of fundings that were needed for that road. So the government, being very innovative and very proactive, decided, look, we will take the bold step, wrote the bank, Kwima was then the country manager, wrote the bank, requesting the bank to allow the government of Liberia to upfront the cost of the road from Ganta to Saklepie. Meaning, instead of we waiting to mobilize private sector funding that we've been doing for over 12 years and it didn't work, We cannot wait for another 12 years, 20 years, 24 years. And so as a government, even though we are in the midst of COVID, we will front load the pavement of the corridor from Ganta to Sakopie. And behind the scene, that was a tactical arrangement to get the bank to move. And so the bank acquiesced to allow the government of Liberia to do that pavement. And so the government of Liberia engaged the contractor, and the contractor started the work.
So, are you saying that there was no funding secured
Absolutely.
by the administration?
No.
Absolutely.
Good.
And absolutely, there was no funding secured. And Jeff could come on that.
Yeah,
there was no funding secured.
Jeff, you want to come?
Thank you, Minister Tor. And Minister Tor was succinct on everything about the road fund. And you see, this is what I said in my write-up, that either the minister is not knowledgeable or he intentionally trying to twist the facts. Road fund had no money. There was no $29 million that was misapplied by the CDC. Never. That is a huge fabrication by this administration, and that is unfair. So, this government had a full arrangement, like he said, with the World Bank to reallocate monies that were agreed upon in the road fund to go directly to the secret. Look, we never had time. There were years of preparation for the road fund. Nothing was going on, other than this president putting a foot down and say, look, we know you people want to help, but what we do, my government will fund all the money to do the road construction. And this is how come you see about 20 kilometers of that road were paved. Other section will work on.
And then
yeah,
it stopped. Why?
Yes. But when did it stop? When did it stop? When? West were ongoing until we went to election.
No, but at some point in time,
yeah,
during your time,
look,
the work
this
stopped.
is World Bank contract. It's not just ordinary contract. The requirements are high. The standards are high. And secondly, World Bank will never release money to government. No. They know that World Bank has the project office within the Ministry of Public Works that oversee all the projects and do all the payment. Monies from the World Bank will not come to the government directly. There's no way government can interfere with World Bank money. And moreover, it's not possible for government to misuse US 20 million of World Bank's money and then World Bank still come back and refund that project. You know, you're a reasonable man. I mean, just a reasonable man standard. You know that, not possible.
What was secured on the Ganta to Zweju Road before you left power? What are the numbers? What do we need to know?
Okay, Mr. Tor wants to respond to that.
Okay, so thank you. So let's get it again in context. So I earlier on told you from Ganta Sakopie was being paved exclusively with taxpayer money. And so from Sakopie to Tapeta is where the bank came in because of the proactive arrangement of the government of Liberia to get the bank to move faster. And so for that corridor, contract was signed, actual works started. Then from the corridor, Tapeta to Toastam.
Right now, under this administration, this road is almost reaching Tapeta now.
Yeah, sure. Because of the good foundation, because of the good execution, because of the good plans. Did
you have the full funding in place already?
Fully funded. Like the Tapeta Toastam. Fully funded also. Contract, everything was signed. Anything that was left was groundbreaking. As a matter of fact, the team at the Ministry of Public Works had a meeting with the community in Toastam, scheduling the time for groundbreaking.
Yeah. And I had a Grand Jida lawmaker here who said twice the groundbreaking should have taken place, and President Weah refused to go. He was supposed to break ground, and he did not go twice. Why?
I don't know why.
That is what that lawmaker said.
I don't know why that lawmaker was being political.
No, he was not being political. He's from Grand Jida. He was disappointed that your government did not break grounds for a road that you reportedly secured monies for when twice the president should have gone there and and you did not go.
So,
Is it true?
Julius, let me just speak to that because I personally were involved with that arrangement.
Okay.
There were numbers of times that we planned to do the groundbreaking for that corridor because it was important to the president because the entire attention was clearly on the SICRAM to lead the entire road construction to the southeast. So he wanted to be there. In fact, we planned the activities on 2 occasions. It did not fit within his schedule. He had to travel, and there's another time you're having another international meeting. So just before the campaign, we had planned another schedule for him to approve so that we go about and do the groundbreaking in Grenada, in fact, because that was the essence to hit the southeast. So he wanted to be there in person. This is why he kept putting off this groundbreaking ceremony.
And in addition, Julius, groundbreaking ceremony by the name as a name depict is just ceremonial program. The weightlifting were already done. The process of procurement was completed. Job execution was needed to start. That's it. And so some projects. I want you to understand this. Like Julius said, the former President hails from the southeast, and so he did everything. And the communities along that corridor should be thankful to their son. They should be thankful to the CDC-led government. Again, Julius, I take it back.
But some of them will not see it that
100
way.
and some more years,
you can claim to.
So we're telling them now, if 100 and some more years, if that corridor could not even receive an inch of all-weather road, and you have it there now, you should be appreciative. The same with Banga Saraye.
No, we
will get there.
We'll
come there.
No, let us remain on that road. I wanted to be clear which portions your government secured monies for, that the money was already there for the work to start. From where to where? You said from Tapeta to Zweju. All those and which one?
Okay, so I'll give you the corridors again.
Good.
Tapeta, for Sacré-Pied, Tapeta. Agile construction works started. Tapeta, Tostan, funding secure, contract signed by the former Minister of Public Works, and in the left groundbreaking. Tostan to Zweju, funding 100% secure. Yes. Procurement activities were ongoing when we left, but funding 100% secure. All right? So people who don't have the information, or people who have information but they try to mislead the public, they try to lie to the public like they did to come to power, they will always want to do that as a game plan. But again, Jeff said something about some $29 million.
The 2 people
that is grave.
29 million?
That is grave. Like Jack said, how possible is that for a government to have access to money that they don't control? In the first place, the World Bank money is not physically managed by the government of Liberia. It's not even transferred to the consolidated account where the Minister of Finance, the Controller General, and other stakeholders have signature to the account. No, it's not so. The World Bank money is kept with the World Bank, and the PFNU that is completely supervised by the World Bank manage the fundings. So how would that kind of money leave on our account? That is just not practically possible. That was a complete misrepresentation of facts.
Was he talking about the World Bank money or the road fund money? There was a time when some amounts of the road fund was used to pay people. I can remember that story. I think I was in the UK then, but I know that story came up.
Today, newspapers are reporting that the CDC-led government misuse. In fact, your own story that you carried before coming here, it was said that the CDC government misused World Bank money.
No, I mean,
maybe the minister is being wrongly quoted, but if that quotation is true, that is just too elementary for any minister to say, because the minister should be aware that government of Liberia or government outside here does not directly control the World Bank's funding or the African Development Bank fundings. It's not done that way. Never has it been, and it is not so now.
Okay. You want to come in before we come to...
So, Julius, I want to be on record, right? And there's too much...
Please focus on the microphone.
There's too much controversy over the project that was done on our government compared to what they are doing. First thing, there has been no new project initiated by this government whatsoever. Any work that's ongoing is based on the heavy lifting of the CDC government. So these road corridors are already prepared and just for work to begin. And this is what the Unity Party government is not able to do, just to start work. So instead of working, they decided to...
No, they are actually working.
Which new project?
Where? Which new project?
No, I mean...
Which new project? There's none.
The very ones that you are talking about. There are works happening on the Tapeta, on the Saclay to Tapeta Road. There is work ongoing on the RIA Road.
Yeah, because they should continue because
those works were already in place. Every action in place. You talk about the RIA Road. This was the same road that our government was heavily criticized for. In fact, they said it was not possible. We had to work overtime. We did the heavy lifting that today that road is ongoing. The perception that road was not even qualified to be called our airport road came from the former President George Weah. The Unity Party government never dreamed that it was possible to expand that road to what it is now. And now they are taking credit for it without referencing the CDC government. That is unfair. That's wrong. They need to initiate projects themselves.
No, but
start something. Start working. Don't just rely on the heavy lifting of the previous government, and then you post that you're working. So let me tell you something.
No, hold on.
Let me just say something.
You got to hold on before you name.
Okay.
There is a realization and there is a timeless truth that government is continuity.
We agree.
Yeah, so if you started something, we should expect a new government to continue, especially if your claim that fundings were secured is true.
So Jeff, just before you continue to really name some rules, look, we agree, but what we say, do not take credit for it exclusively. Be honest with the Liberian people. Don't repeat what you did in the elections. You told the Liberian people that you're going to increase salary. You told the people that you're going to increase health worker salary. You said you're going to increase police post salary. You said you're going to add on to this. You're going to reverse harmonization. You didn't do it.
No,
They did
top ups.
Top up for how many percent? Julius, just 1 second.
That's what the government said.
Julius, 1 second.
That is increment.
Julius, I want to make that.
Julius, $40.
Julius, I want to make this point. Julius, every government and the standard have been set by the CDC government will live on for a very long time. Don't come to power and want to do business as usual and you think the Liberian people will take you to be serious. No, this is the information age. This is the time where the people not just listen to ERWA and ERBC. Right now, you see all the gadgets around here. The people in all parts of the world are seeing us. So when you are talking about roads, when you are talking about coming to state power in this country, you should have plans. Do not just come and lie your way to power and you have nothing to offer. Listen, let me say this. I think they shouldn't even be claiming credit. Because when we were doing those roads, they said they were nothing. So you can't be doing it now and say there's something. No, you're still misleading the people.
Okay.
Be innovative. Come up with projects that will add to the quality of life of Liberian people. Julius, before you continue, Julius, quickly. The RIA road that Jeff said, that corridor has been a death trap in this country from time immemorial. The Unity Party government was in power for 12 years. They couldn't start. You saw what happened, and you see the experience of the Liberian people with the Invisible Park. You see how the people gravitate towards that place every weekend, weekdays, holidays, and carrying on recreation activities. You see PHP, you see Clarendon, you see Dole Community, you see West Point, you see Yucatan. These are innovations that the people should capitalize on and think outside the box. They're not doing anything like that. It pains me that these people will have 6 years to work. When they had 12, they didn't do anything. We had 6, we did what we could, and they still not appreciating what we did. We're not saying don't do it, because government is continuing. But as you do them, make sure that credit go to former President George Manneh. That's the point we're making.
Yeah, before we go to the lines, Jeff.
So Julius.
And Jeff, you can read a list of roles.
Yes, thank you. Let me just clarify to you. The reason why Minister Giddings is indulging in fabrication, in lies, is because George Weah and the CDC-led government has set a standard that any government in this country will have to measure up to. And this Unity Party government is not able to measure up to that standard. You mentioned the 29 million. The standard of development that the CDC government set in this country. No government prior to CDC government set the standard of work that was done in this country.
Look at that airport terminal. The VIP
and the reason why he mentioned the 20 million is to discredit CDC. And he cannot do that. He's trying to prove that there were no money to do these roads. And so they negotiated and got the 29 million to do, and then they take the credit. And that is unacceptable under any circumstances. A leader of a public sector, like public work, cannot indulge in lies. It discredits you, it discredits the government. So look, before the removal of the CDC government from power, there were a lot of major roads that were already under construction. We have, for example, already he mentioned about the Ganta Salaye road. That is the 1 kilometer road. 65% of that road already completed. Up to now, what has the Unity Party government done on that road? Nothing.
Looking for funding.
Same way they were looking for funding almost 100 and some more years.
Were secured. I'm telling you. Let me be on record for this.
But the project got stalled because of some monies owed the Kuwaitis, I believe, by your both governments combined.
Exactly.
Yeah, from the previous and then yours. Combined, we're owing some money, I think, from the port monies that were credited in 2016 or so. And you all could not follow up on the payments of, I think it was 14 million or so.
So Julius.
If I can remember the figures well.
So Julius.
So they can only progress on our success. But on other aspects, they can't progress on that. What are the progress they've made on that already? What? Let them come and tell you what the progress they made since we
recently.
What the progress? They only tell you progress on our success.
Recently, the finance minister, the public works minister, and others were in Kuwait, and they were negotiating for funding, and there are good signals coming out of that.
We have signal on the buses. We have signal on the yellow equipment. We have signal on the I don't know how many billion from China. Where are they? Lies. We have signal.
It takes time. You know, Jeff. Jeff, you know that you were.
We have signal on the NGO jobs that was supposed to be created. Where are they? Nothing.
Jeff.
And these are not issues. So,
Jeff,
let me tell you. Let me give you.
Before you gave it.
Listen.
Let's be clear. You were in government, and you know that these things take time to come by.
No, they didn't know that. They didn't know that. They thought it was bread and butter. When we were doing the heavy lifting, they thought it was bread and butter. Now they can't move an inch on that road up to now.
And Jeff, quickly, do you know that even the overhead pass or passes, one in front of the ministerial complex and the other one
I was going to tell you about that.
To SKD Boulevard Junction. Do you know that discussion, I heard them talk about it, but they didn't say the other side. Do you know that payments, the government side of the bargain, were completed by the former regime of President Weah, meaning all the RAB activities.
But why did it get started? Y'all saying government went and voted against the Chinese.
So those are all the political.
No, that one not political.
You just said, Jeff, you just said
that one are true. That one, your government voted against the Chinese.
So
the Chinese started the process.
Jeff, you just said this thing can take time.
But I won't talk too long because you went and voted against the Chinese.
When the people could not do it in 12 years, and we pay RAB, we settle all the bills over there.
Voted against the Chinese, so the post start the whole thing. They turn the project you have started. It did not start because the Chinese were not happy.
The Chinese
because you all were so afraid of the Americans, but were still sanctioning your people. You went and voted against the Chinese,
and the Chinese
to
discuss that particular
point. But what you say? You talk about
whether we voted for Chinese or not. But the reality is clear that this government is indulging into lies and falsehood. And we cannot tolerate that. We cannot allow it to slide. It's not right to continue to lie about everything.
And Jeff, let me tell you, echo this.
Which one?
Julius, on numerous occasions, do you know that the minister have been in the business of telling the people of Bourgeois Island that the former regime never did any intervention on the corridor, Gabriel Tucker Bridge to St. Paul Bridge? He said that on numerous occasions. And how will he say that? We have maintenance contract on our road. We have real contract already secure on our road. So how will he be repeating that kind of narrative when he knows very well that that is far from the reality?
Yeah, but every rainy season, sometimes works were done, but
Exactly.
the road would still get bad.
Oh yeah, but guess what? Even the maintenance that is being done now, if it takes long for the Japanese intervention to start, exactly the road will deteriorate. Because guess what? Our climatic condition, the precipitation of rain in this place is very high.
Okay.
And the foundation of that road was done since 1976 or 78 for the OU conference. So that's why the government, being very much innovative, very much proactive, decided to negotiate with the Japanese government.
Let us come back to Jeff for the next 1 minute before I take a few calls.
Okay, just you take a few calls. Just 1 minute. And I want to be on record on this. I will name this rule so that the lies can stop. So these are the major corridors that was already funded and work have started. The Banga to Salaye, which is 81 kilometer, all the 65 kilometer already done. The Ganta, Sanikwele to Yekepa, that is 67 kilometers. All of that 37 kilometers were already done. We have the Ganta to Saklepi. Okay, that is the main problematic one that he lied about. The Ganta to Saklepi is 39 kilometers. All of that 20 kilometers were already done under our administration. We started the work started, the contracts are all in place. They yet need to continue the work. Sanikwele to look at 47.1 kilometers. All of that, about 22 kilometers already done under our administration. Hapa to Kalukin, 50 kilometers, 30 kilometers already completed. We have Kalukin to Fishtown, that's 80 kilometers. 80 kilometers was completed, 100%. We have Hapa Junction, Kavala to the custom border. You know what I'm talking about, going straight to the border. That is 16 kilometers. All of the 16 kilometers, 100% 16 kilometers completed under our government. We have the ERW road you already know about. It's 100% completed. They are doing the dressing of the road now and they're boasting about it, taking credit for that. That is unacceptable.
Plus all the numerous other community roads.
So those are the major corridors. Then you have all the
what about Cape Mount? Did you all secure anything for Cape Mount?
Oh yes.
Yes. The Cape Mount, that is from the junction Madina to Rawasport. Fully contract, everything in place. In fact, work has started.
Work started before we leave.
Work started on that road. I think it was done by the West African Construction. Yeah. All the SSF West African. They did that. They're doing that road currently. That road was awarded, work has started, and everything done on that road. So let them build on our successes. Let them do that instead of trying to disrespect our hard work and claim credit for it.
Okay, thanks so kindly, gentlemen. Let's take a few calls. Our next guest is here. This is the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. This will continue. Hopefully someday we can bring both sides to face each other. That would be a good thing. Face to face, just how we used to do it before when CDC were in power, and we used to bring Giddings and others. It will be okay to bring your two and Giddings and others. Yeah, it'll be a very good thing. We got a lot to happen now. 777-995-555-995-995. Welcome. Let's hear you quickly.
Julius, thank you very much. This is Sakaro's Gray.
Go ahead.
Let me quickly appreciate the two former ministers of the CDC-led administration. And I love when you said something, Julius, you said government is continuity. But do these guys who in government understand the issue of continuity? That's why what people are empowered to make them to understand what continuity is all about. On the Rawasport Road is the SSF. That contract was given and concluded under the in fact covers expansion, everything was being done on the Rawasport Road. Okay. But again, I want to say thank you to those guys. Look, tomorrow, gentlemen, I'm happy. I hope former ministers of government will come like you people. Tomorrow, Lord, you'll get a lunch on me at the headquarters of the CDC by 3 o'clock. Your time. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay. Welcome. Let's hear you quickly. Hello.
Hello.
Yes,
yeah,
go ahead. Let's hear you.
Musa Kone. And for me, I can only say debate ends. Facts, true, is very easy. You see how fluent, I'm not telling you thank you. You see how fluent and how eloquent the guys are when they are discussing facts. Every other conversation is false. But you know what, Julius? You, Julius, you get problems. The guys in Studio get problems. Musa Kone get serious problem. But of course, President, we get problem. If had it not been because he got problem, and that problem is because we are human, store, your play quality, your salary. President, we are in my mind, I think he refused or not to break ground for that major role is the reason why plenty debate around. Some of the mistakes we made is just on that road. You secure that milestone achievement, my brother. There was nothing important more than just driving, going over there to break ground. What happened even during the campaign? You were still president. You were breaking ground. So these are some of the problems that we made.
Okay.
But again, like I said, there is no argument about construction. Like people will make George, are you like it or not? He is unmatched when it comes to development.
Okay, thanks so kindly. Let's see who's on this side. Welcome. Let's hear you quickly.
Thank you, my good friend and brother Julius. Look, Julius, it has already been said. We know what CDC government did in this country. The passion that George will have to carry on development, to carry on things, it was not for the Ebola that came to strike us down, then they will go. But let me say this, the mistake that we made, that was still haunting us. The United Party, they are good up for them. The people are working for them. Also, I'm still working for them. We still saying that we ain't doing nothing. At this time, what they came up today to say this. Look, if all part government will make sure every time money there, nobody should say no money there to pay for airtime, to be meeting, to be discussing, we will win the soul of the Liberian people. But we still thinking that the way we're in power.
Okay. Okay, thanks so kindly. Welcome. Let's hear you.
David Coty, my name.
Go ahead, sir.
You said something at the end of your speech before calls started coming in. I think that's what you should do. We have been hearing about accusations and counter-accusations. We did this one, the heavy lifting, the lower lifting, all the kind of lifting. My suggestion to you is please invite the current administration of Public Works and the same people.
Yeah, we will. We will. Trust me. We will.
It's important. Let them come face to face and bring documents. We are the one who secure the funding for this. No, there are other people there. In order for the Liberian people to know the truth.
Yes, no, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Accusation. We did it. We the one started that we tired with all this long talk here. Please invite the both groups.
Okay.
And they will bring documents to prove it. No, the one day. No.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks.
Have a good day.
Thanks so kindly. Let's take a few more. Our next guys will come in shortly. Let's come on this side. Let's see who here. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Hello, Julius.
Go ahead. Let's hear you.
Yeah, Julius, let me say good evening to your studio guest and then the Liberian people. Julius, my name is Henry M. Gray, and I joined the conversation from Renaissance. Julius, you know, there's a general claim and contact claim, I'm the one do this, I'm the one do that. You know, let the people take the blueprint, let United Party do the work.
But that's the same thing that citizens used to tell UP. You have to the blueprint. So you're saying it to them too. No, but they want more than blueprint. They Henry, hello. But they are saying it is more than blueprint. They're saying they secured the funding. The money was already and all that stuff.
Securing the funding. Getting whatsoever, and I wouldn't want to do the work, Julia. We want to do the work.
Okay.
So we are the one that the Liberian people appreciating.
Okay.
Okay. So thank you very much. You say the blueprint will do the work.
Take the blueprint will do the work. Thanks so kindly. Let's go international. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Good afternoon, Julia. This is Master Boy, and I call from my rescue center.
Go ahead.
I'm not a big fan of CDC. And I'm not a fan of Unity Party either, because CDC is the carbon copy of Unity Party. So, but moving forward, I just want to say to Mr. Chesson, your government inability to propagate your sources is the reason why you in studio today trying to defend what Mr. Gideon said on the closing argument. And it's a clear indication that you guys are really upset with Unity Party, because everything Gideon said, he said on the closing argument, so you guys can listen to the closing argument also. And then what I want to say to TDC is, if you guys ever have the opportunity to come back, and I'm sure you guys will be coming back, because we're looking for a way to keep you guys and Unity Party out of the space. But if you guys ever have the opportunity to come back, if you guys come back, you guys should have people like Unity Party who are very good at telling lies. Who are very good at lying to the people. If you guys don't have that, trust me, you guys won't succeed again. Thank you.
Oh, so you want them to be lying?
Like I said, I don't wish for them to come back, and I know they ain't coming back because we're trying to keep their Unity Party up out of the space because they both are the same. CDC is the carbon copy of Unity Party. They ain't no different. But like I said, Unity Party know how to play that game. They barely know it. You got people who barely know how to learn. Getting is one of them. You see, they use it wrong. Doing it in 2019, 2020. And he lied a lot. That made the CDC very unpopular. But CDC, you guys don't have the ability to propagate your message. That's one of your main problems. The only problem you got having in your government that could really propagate your message when you didn't fire him. And when you fire him and you didn't hire a replacement. So this is why you guys got to come into the studio now to explain style. This commentary after the match. Interjecting.
Okay. Thanks. So kindly, let's see who's on this end. Welcome, second to last caller.
Yeah, Julius. How are you, my brother?
I'm fine. Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Matthew, man. I'm a Texas guy from Riverkeys County. Yes, I listen to your studio guests. They said they pay for those roads for Cantor to Tapetan and
no, secured the funding. Secured the funding.
They created a phony.
They secured.
Yeah, because the big things are pro.
No, I want you to use the right words. That's okay. Right. Yeah.
They created phony, and they have the contractors on the road, especially for Cantor to Secretary to Tapetan. But why for Secretary to Tapetan? Why don't we spend more than 4 to 5 days? Me a business man, and I'm a politician. I don't know nothing about politics. But why they go? Whatever. On Saturday, I pick up for what you at 4 o'clock. I reach from Monrovia at 2 o'clock because the road is pliable now. So to him, my question is, what should create?
Okay.
I should create a premium government or the current government that made the road pliable. I can spend 8 hours for what you from Monrovia.
Okay. Thanks so kindly. They will answer that. Let's see who's on this end quickly. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Yeah. Hello, Julius?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. I want to thank you guys in studio. These are the problems that CDC had. I mean, communication. CDC did not communicate their agenda when they were in power, and even they left power, similar thing is happening. I want to thank Akara's Gray very well. It is Mr. Gray, former Representative Gray, that is keeping the CDC spirit alive. He's doing very well. People that benefited from the CDC, there's a time he should come over and talk. Unity Party is good in governance. They are also good in propaganda. If the CDC does not put up a real face to stay as a political party, trust me, it will be a very serious problem for them. Unity Party understands the game very well.
Okay.
CDC, you need to do something. Mr. Gray, you are doing well for the CDC. Our whole citizens will understand that the route Mr. Gray is taking since you left power. If you get 2, 3, 4, 5 President Gray, I think you will recover the strength of your party.
Okay.
That's a problem for you.
Okay. Thanks so kindly, Musa Sharif. The final one. Let's hear you quickly. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, Julius. How are you?
Yeah, quickly. I mean, we don't have enough time.
Yeah, thank you, Julius. This is John J. Backbed, and I want to appreciate your studio guests, the 2 studio guests, which is Chetin and Minister Tor, former Minister Tor. You see, in fact, Basel benefited from the citizen initiative as well. Since 1847, Basel being one of the county that signed the Declaration of Independence Liberia to the fairground, who have the administrative hub to the fairground was paved. You understand? Even the so clean road today was paved. In fact, the agreement was signed. Everything ground was the program with former Representative Swakoko. So, but these things we all need to. Governments continue with it as fact. But you cannot be taking credit, and you know very well that these things were done, and you met them to pave your way to do more. So you will be able to articulate that to the Liberian people, and don't be like, who say, okay, yeah, I did this. Can you imagine former president we was able to name the administrative, the administrative complex in honor of the former president? That's to how the country can progress.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks so kindly. We come back to them 1 minute each. Let's start with Jeff, then we'll end with him.
Thank you, Julius, and thank you. Just few comments from the callers. I think Masakwa made some statement about CDC should lie. CDC cannot lie. We say the truth because our works will speak for us. This CDC-led government did more work in this country than any government will do. And just to close up, I re-emphasize that not a cent, nearly talk about 29 million, was misused by the CDC government. That cannot happen under the World Bank's watch, and that cannot happen under the CDC government. The current minister of the Ministry of Public Works, Roland Giddens, is not knowledgeable, and he's a propagandist. I think he should sit and do his work, initiate new projects for this government, and he needs to come up clear and clarify the corruption scandal that is hanging over him regarding the 21 million that he squandered. He needs to come clear how he gave contracts to his friends for kickbacks, how he violated the PPCC laws and awarded contracts.
Allegedly.
He needs to come up clear and clear that scandal from over his head and focus on his job instead of trying to be a propagandist.
Minister Tall.
Thank you, Julius. So quickly, Secretary last quarter talked about leaving from Zedru. He's a taxi driver. He leaves from Zedru, and in the next few hours he's in Morovia. I say this to you: don't forget that road. Whenever there is rain, we did intervention on our road repeatedly. In fact, we put into motions what you see happening today. That's why the former regime was very keen on acquiring equipment for the Ministry of Public Works, and we left those set of equipment there. And so the current government is utilizing that to maintain the roads. So they're still using the equipment that the CDC left with them, which is good. And
did you people buy some new equipment before leaving power in 2023?
Yeah, but Jeff, you and I spoke about that. It's nothing to be repeated. We spoke about that. You remember you came in studio when I called at the bond what you said, and information came from all over. We did. No,
say it again.
So we had an agreement with ABK to provide the government of Liberia 43 pieces of equipment, right? Different kinds. And out of that, we got more than 50% in country. I will not be precise with the number because I didn't look at that information for coming. We got more than 60%, in fact, 60% in country when we left. So I heard you talking about something. Contract management is contract management. You have to manage your contract to be able to get your desired result.
Okay.
Now, I come in. Somebody talk about blueprint. We're not discussing blueprint. We're discussing actuality. All the roles Jeff was naming, those are not blueprints. Those are actual reality. And COVID, let me say this. The Liberian people should understand this. The CDC government came to power 2018. By 2019, COVID hit.
2020.
2020, COVID hit. No, it started 2019. Actually, COVID started 2019.
Yeah, but we had it 2020.
2019. And 2020 was very severe up to 2021. So 2 years, let's say, about 2 years of government function was taken away by COVID. And all the successes we naming, we were able to do them. President, we were able to do them. So there's no comparison.
A driver asks, whom should he credit? When before, you can say you secure fundings and all of that, but now he can go to River G quicker than it used to be before. Who should he credit?
Credit the CDC.
But why?
Credit the CDC because the CDC put into motion all the activities that are ongoing on our road.
Okay.
We left the equipment with them, and those are the equipment they are using to get the road pliable.
Thanks.
But not only that, we also have pavement on the way going.
Thanks so kindly.
You are welcome.
Yeah, and next time y'all can pay for airtime. If y'all want 2 hours, y'all pay for it. Then we can talk all that one. Today we just want to hear from you. Y'all go. Yeah, y'all still get money around. Y'all go. Why you got money? When y'all just leave, y'all better come pay for 2 hours. See ya. Y'all go. Let us take a very quick break. Next up, we go international relations.
Yeah, my girl, I slam my card also.
The player I have first. I go carry my uncle card also on a garage. The go we are where or inside it. The whole car engine spot.
I the same thing happening to me. I go buy one recycle or I put it in my keke. Says them my keke just smoking jara mandingo koba.
So my people, you're not here about Sunoco American oil. They have oil for everything. Whether that pen, Tesla, dump truck, Caterpillar, motorbike, Jeep, keke. Their products include Sunoco Sunoco Auto Transmission Fluid. They have Global and they also have CVT. Sunoco Engine Oil Ultra Synthetic Blend 5W30 and 20. Sunoco 15W40 and C50 monograde for both gasoline and diesel. Sunoco 0W20 full synthetic engine oil. And our engine oil can even clean your engine set. That oil can take you for 3 months, 4 months, and 12 months. They have long-lasting auto-light spark plugs. That one can take you up to 3 years, no wahala. They have now opened a sophisticated garage with well-trained mechanics for diagnostic testing and for electronic fault correction. They do all types of vehicle servicing. You want to change your oil, spare your car, weather your car, you want to fix the air condition. So where is this place located? River Street, AB Tubber Road. For order, contact Marketers Inc. 0880-535-508 or 0777-677-633. Make your engine happy. Use Sunoco oil. You got to make the change.
Your favorite RLJ Canada Resort and Villas is new and improved with top-notch first-class services guaranteed to make you feel pampered and special as our royal guests. Ideally located on the RI Highway, a few minutes drive from the rehab junction, right in front of the Atlantic Ocean, you are assured of a peaceful, serene atmosphere of a home away from home. The ingredients for our Liberian meals are freshly picked from our garden to give you that unforgettable taste of Liberian cuisine. Our villas are designed and equipped to ensure every night spent with us is a memorable one. We are well positioned to host conferences and seminars of all sizes, as well as outdoor events like garden weddings and parties. Book your upcoming events and leave the rest for us to handle with 100% satisfaction guarantee. You can reach us on 0770-533-415 or email us at reservations@canadaresort.com.lr. Visit our website on www.rljcanadaresort.com.lr. RLJ Canada Resort and Villas, for memories worth repeating.
Yes, indeed, our next set of guests is here. This is the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. That's why we do avail the platform to all sides. Nobody is too big, nobody is too small. Brief, William Smith. He should be having a program there in the US. I think in June.
Oh, it's alright. I know you're gonna be alright.
No matter what the case is, just breathe.
I've been here before, so you wanna walk out that door. It's alright. I know you're gonna be alright. I know right now you're kind of losing hope. You don't wanna do this life no more.
Breathe. Yeah, I know it's tough for you.
I know that you're gonna get through. Breathe. Breathe. Yeah, I know it's tough for you. I know that you're gonna get through. Breathe. Oh, breathe. Oh, breathe.
We have with us the Liberia Diplomatic Think Tank. Amos Williams is the Executive Director. Briscoe Pito, the Secretary General. Hilary Beji as well, all of them right here. Who are they? And what is their role in this whole Liberia's bid for the United Nations Security Council non-permanent seat? What does it mean for the country? What are the international implications? Okay, let's go across the table now. It is a very long running day on the show. Next up will be the group that want to stage the protest on July 17th. So we came from previous government to diplomats, then we'll go to some realpolitik. That's what it is. Amos, welcome. What happened? Why are you laughing?
Thank you, Julius.
You said he's a big torture host, you know how it can work.
Yeah, thank you. I was just out there and then listening to the radio and listening to you quiz the former ministers. And I was just asking someone, are we going for elections tomorrow?
Well,
because it sounded like this. We are in the campaign time now.
People want to make things clear first before that time comes.
Well, anyway, it's a good thing to be here. We are diplomats, so we're not politicians. Yeah, but thanks for the opportunity.
Briscoe Pito, welcome.
Yes, thank you, Julius, and thank you for the level of work you are doing here and to the entire OK family.
Okay, and Hilary Beji, welcome.
Thank you, Julius. For clarity, I'm the board chair of the Library of Diplomatic Think Tank.
What the board chairman? That's a huge portfolio.
And the man who birthed the idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so let's come back to the executive director now to tell us. Give us some history about the Liberia Diplomatic Think Tank. What is it?
So since we're talking about the man who birthed the idea, it will be wise to hear from the brainchild of the think tank, Hilary, to give us a background
sure.
where we came from.
Sure. Hilary, tell us before we come to your ED.
Thank you, Julius. I think this is not our first time for the benefit.
It is your first time on my show.
Okay, on your show. Okay, so the Liberia Diplomatic Think Tank was founded 2023 May with the vision to becoming the leading policy research and advocacy organization in Liberia, dedicated to enhancing Liberia diplomatic engagement and to contribute to global peace and development. Based on what we have learned as a young professional over a period of time, we felt that to be a diplomat, we needed to have the practical aspect of it. So we brought ourselves together as young people, young professionals, to making sure that Liberia has some of the best brains in terms of diplomatic engagement and understanding of diplomacy.
Okay.
To build on that, after our graduation in 2021, a group of us, having graduated from the Foreign Service Institution, the Gabriel A. Daniel Foreign Service Institution, we thought the best we can do. After acquiring the education, we thought the best to do is to practicalize what we've been taught in the classroom on the legs of Dr. Beauplaire, former Foreign Minister George Wallace, Bwaka, and the other. We thought that moving into the future, it would be good for us to put ourselves together and put into practice the academic studies we did in the classroom. So we birthed the idea. And since then, what we've been doing, we had to first register the organization. We then had to go back to encourage some of our colleagues who were still on the fence to seeing the need to come on board and join the Liberia Diplomatic Think Tank. So our job has been mobilizing and recruiting, at the same time putting in some strategic plans to making sure that the think tank is not just being heard about, but we are making impact. So we registered the think tank. After registration, we then engaged the Ministry of Foreign Affairs about what the think tank vision and mission is. And since then, we've been working closely with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, particularly under this government. We became very practical in our engagement, but with the former government, we were more of consultation. That was when we were birthing, beginning to structure ourselves and putting things into place. So the moment we had the time to have, after the 2023 elections, we became a full-fledged organization and working directly with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Okay. SG Tor, tell us, what are your plans going forward?
Yeah, so
please focus on the microphone so we get better.
All right. So the diplomatic think tank has, like my ED and the funding father said, or Mr. Bridgie, we
Can
intend.
you, I don't want the wire touching the head of the phone, so you can face it straight to you and just focus on the microphone.
All right, thank you. So as part of our, thank you for the call.
You can go ahead.
Thank you. So part of our plans are to identify new generation of Liberian emerging diplomats with integrity-driven characters that will help lead the new generation of Liberian diplomats. And so as an organization, like my colleague have said, we decided, we have a plan to, after our formation, we intend to help promote the non-permanent seedbed of Liberia campaign. So right after this campaign, then we will move into personally those things that we have to do as an entity to make us more vibrant in Liberia.
But besides this, what have you been up to?
So what the think tank has been doing, other than engaging the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for recognition and having us register as a legal organization in Liberia, part of our goal is to do research. So the think tank has been doing research, understanding Liberia's position in terms of how her diplomatic engagement is working, and advising the Ministry of Foreign Affairs on some of these key issues. For example, in terms of how the ministry make some foreign policy decision in terms of engagement with other countries. I know there were times where we got involved constructively with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, with the way the previous government took some decision around the assigning of foreign service officer. We thought that step that was in the wrong direction. So when the new government took over immediately, we decided to engage the new government to see how they could revisit their approach. And we're glad that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to some extent, were able to listen to our engagement. And today we are at the point where they are going by the books in terms of how you get to send our foreign service officer out of the country. So that was one thing we did, and we think we did it successfully with the way we engaged the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The second thing we did talk to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs on is that who become an ambassador, what qualify one to become an ambassador, what is required in terms of how our ambassadors, in terms of their function and duty, in terms of the work they do. So we're glad that our engagement with actors within the foreign ministry is yielding result in terms of how they're making their choices in terms of who represent us outside there. So we are basically a research organization. We are basically a diplomatic group that is involved into looking at Liberia foreign policy and advising the ministry in terms of how they take decisions or how they make advances towards Liberia and its foreign relation out there.
Okay, because looking at a think tank, I think there's a whole lot you could do. There are a whole lot of international issues with local ramifications, local issues with international ramifications, and the research, the funding required, and all of that. It involves a whole lot of funding. How can you, or how will you, or how are you getting funding?
So how do we deal with that is to first begin to put our feet down in terms of our research topics. For example, one issue now we're beginning to look at is the most recent crisis at the legislature that led to the resignation of former Speaker Fanatic Kofa. We know we've had an old age problem with Speaker Snow, Tyler, and all of those things. So there is a research approach to understanding what is behind it and how does it affect the country image internationally. And like you said, we're not just, part of what we do is to look at how Liberia take international decisions. So then we look at that from a diplomatic point to understanding what are the ramifications in terms of how the country benefit, in terms of what image does it give to the country, in terms of how the citizens themselves view these decisions that are taken, how the people who Liberia are seeking partnership for. For example, now we're moving from from aid to economic diplomacy. This current foreign minister is very strong with economic diplomacy. What that means for us as a country and how do we benefit from that? These are things we as a think tank will put our time to researching and understanding and recommending to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in terms of how it works practically.
Okay, good. Let's come to the UN Security Council non-permanent member status that Liberia has been seeking, and the vote should be taking place soon, I suppose, right? Yeah. Now, who was taking us up on it? How are you involved? Why do you consider it important?
So, Liberia is one of the founding members of the United Nations. When the UN came into being in 1945, there were 50 countries that signed the chapter, and Liberia was one of those. When it came into being 1945 or October 24th, after immediately Liberia ratified the treaty in November of the same 1945, November 2. So from there, Liberia has been contributing peacekeeping force in the UN. And by the matter of fact, Liberia is the 60th largest peacekeeping contributor to the UN peacekeeping force around the world. So from there, Liberia, there is no way that we cannot, as people, recognize our efforts and our contribution to peace building. So for Liberia to vie for this seat, I think it's historic and it's worthy of reward because of what we have done, coming from 14 years of civil crisis and conducting a series of democratic elections without any undermining of our constitution and having a transition of government. In fact, it has been recognized in recent time, 2023, when President Weah conceded without any coming up with the final call. I think that was really commendable, and that also put Liberia on the map in terms of living up to democratic tenets in Africa, especially in the Mara River Union. So with all of we achieved, I think there's no way we as people, we cannot put ourselves together or gather ourselves, put our hands in one basket to support the government in terms of obtaining the seat. And we as the think tank, what we are doing is we are looking at the interests of the people. We are making sure that we as Liberians, regardless of their political differences, religious differences, we all come together, because after Boaka there will be Liberia, before Boaka there was Liberia. So whatever we achieve, it will be for the betterment of all of us. So we are pleased to be here and to contribute to the awareness process.
Yeah, so to add to that, I think the campaign that is ongoing right now for the non-permanent seat is something we, as a think tank, we consider as a national call to duty. As citizens of this country, as organizations, we are all on a moral obligation to help support our government, our country, in the bid for this non-permanent seat, because we know at the end of this, if Liberia wins, every one of us win this. Every one of us will win, and that whatever benefit that will come to the country as a result of winning the seat, it will benefit all Liberians. So the think tank has decided to help the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the government, to push this campaign to make
people keep asking the question, what actual benefit? The ordinary person out there, what's a benefit? Security Council, what is it?
Yeah, many people won't see, especially from an ordinary point of view, you won't see what the benefits are like. But winning this seat is almost like having a key representative at the table where decisions are made in terms of global politics at the level of the United Nations. So imagine having Liberia on the seat. If you go down in history, Liberia has represented, in fact, the entire continent of Africa at the level of the League of Nations back in the days, now the United Nations, and help many other countries in Africa. If you go deep down in history, Liberia does not normally, when we have the opportunity to serve at the global stage, we don't just look at ourselves as a nation, just Liberia. We also extend our benevolence across the table in other countries, support other countries' independence and all of that. So we believe Liberia, winning this seat will give a great boost to our country and government.
But following on that, it must also drawing. We as a people, we can't influence that decision in terms of how people vote and all of that, right? Can we? Is there anything we?
In terms at the level of the Security
as
Council?
ordinary people, yeah. I mean, the countries that would do the voting for the acceptance of the members of the Security Council.
No, because there's a saying that if the house doesn't sell you, the street will not buy you. So we with the concept of why we're here, to provide the education to us as Liberians, that this leap that this government has taken onto, there's a lot to do. And I'll take you back to your question, what benefit does it bring to the ordinary citizen? For example, when the Security Council took a resolution to send peacekeepers to Liberia was not at the level of the Security Council, but those countries that voted for Liberia, for peacekeepers to come to Liberia, were on the Security Council. So that's how UN came to Liberia. So when we talk about how it benefits the ordinary people, in the context that Liberia will be taking decisions, or Liberia will be influencing peace and security decisions that has to do with how peace and security globally is sustained. For example, how does it benefit the ordinary people if the conflict emerge in Guinea, and Liberia can go to the UN Security Council and ask the Security Council for intervention into whatever will be happening in Guinea, and there's a peace and stability in Guinea. It affects Liberia because our people will be able to trade between Guinea and Liberia peacefully. We're all being harassed and threatened by the economic or security instability that may erupt in any one of our African countries. So these are some of the elementary benefits. However, when we talk about the Security Council, we're talking about one of the legacies for which Liberia tend to stand on, to advocate for the need for her representation. We're talking about women, peace, and security. Today, the United Nations is concerned about what role women can play in peace and security, and Liberia has a good credential for that. How our women led the peace effort in Liberia. Today, how Liberia was able to establish the Women Election Security Room, Women Peace and Security Elections Room, led by Councillor Yvette Chesire, right? So that story needs to be elevated at the level of the Security Council, that it can be documented and replicated in other countries for success story. Youth, peace, and security, when I was on the national stage, I know how much the UN was concerned about young people's role in peace and security. Liberia has a rich credential around that area that talks about youth, peace, and security. Grenelle Myers, I know how young people fought Ebola in this country. So the approach of young people towards sustaining peace and security in Liberia qualify Liberia for the seat at the table. And how does it benefit an ordinary person? Because Liberia will be in the room where decisions that got to do with keeping peace and security globally, and looking at Liberia as a own country, keeping that standard. If Liberia is in the room calling for global peace and security, Liberia is on an obligation to keeping those standards in terms of how peace and security is sustained. So back home, when there is peace in Liberia and the security situation is stable, that young person or that woman who will take a market from the farm to bring it to Monrovia and have people buy it will be safe, because Liberia will be upholding to what the global standard for peace and security is all about.
Yeah, before we come to that, let me ask this question, which is, and any of you can take that on. There are those who think that the country may not qualify for a UN Security Council seat because of everything else that happens back home, the different issues of rule of law, the different concerns from different segments of the society. Because of these things, they think the country may not qualify, especially in the area of rule of law.
So, if I may speak to that, Julius, there's no country that is free from differences in terms of rule of law, in terms of conflict. So, Liberia is just another country that is part of the face of earth that somehow, some way, been upholding rule of law. There's no country in this world that is completely free from, these vices. So, what we have experienced in recent time of the impasse somehow brought Liberia on a spotlight in terms of rule of law. But one of the resilience of us is how do we solve our problem? How do we solve whatever political or legal issues that we have? So you know that we have had during the Civil War, we have had our women, we have had our traditional leaders, we have had the council, the religious council. All of these people, these are part of the civil society, part of the organs in our country that make us resilient and make us to solve our problems. So Liberia going for the seat, I don't think there's any issue back home that will deter us from going for the seat. Even the US, there's problem. Even China, there's problem. There's no one country that is free from conflict. So what we are looking at is the contribution that we have made in the UN, the contribution that we have made as people in terms of keeping peace. What can we share with the world in terms of after 14 years of civil war and going through full successful democratic elections without any rigorous process to talk about changing constitution. So briefly, you were asking about the benefit. There's no first-hand benefit, and if I may add to Amos, when Liberia goes on the table, it creates influence. Liberia become influencer in terms of who we go to and how people come. Because if you're on a table, there's consensus before. Diplomacy is give and take. Anybody who come into Liberia in terms of decision making, there's something that will be coming on the table. So with all of the engagement, there's a process where Liberia will be saying on the table. Liberia will be talking about increasing foreign aid, talking about visibility, because once you are at that table, you're coming back to Africa, China or Russia, all these countries, the big five, they are countries that will be on that table, and coming back to Africa, we as Africans will be expecting much from you. So you're coming back at the AU, coming back to ECOWAS, you almost there's somebody who have played the World Cup, and people expect more from you. So coming to you now, there will be a whole lot of exchange of investment, all that stuff. So all of these things we may not see it firsthand, but there will be a huge benefit of coming back to our country in terms of how we develop our country.
Okay.
Before then, in terms of whether Liberians tend to have the necessary credential for the seat. Look around you, the current government does not have any political prisoner. So we have two former presidents in country and protected by the current government. So the credential that Liberia that qualify Liberia is immense. Liberia, beyond the fact that we had an election, a sitting government conceded to the election result. Sierra Leone, that is currently on the seat. The former president of Sierra Leone is not in country. I think he's in Nigeria or Ghana, one of these countries. And yet and still Sierra Leone is on the seat. And that is the seat Liberia is vying for. So to say whether we qualify, we are overly qualified. And I have no doubt, as someone who has worked within the UN, I have no doubt that Liberia will win the seat, because our qualification, our current credential is heavily charged to the extent that those member countries that will be voting on the 3rd of June will vote for Liberia. Some of them have come to Liberia to understand how Liberia has been able to achieve and being to where she is today. So with the kind of foreign minister that we have right now, that is punching and pushing and is well communicating Liberia's position for this seat, we're certainly on the path to victory.
Is any member of the group going to New York?
No. Well, we as a think tank were never asked, were never invited to join the delegation. But however, because we saw the need,
that is a place for one of you to be too.
No, not necessarily. We've been in touch with some of our friends who are there. We're encouraging a huge portion of the Liberian community to join the
okay.
I'm told the campaign is closing today. The Liberian campaign is closing today. So we expect to see some of our friends who've spoken to turn up.
Okay. They are here. Let's take a few calls. 777-700-995, 555-995-995. Our next guests are here. But Joa Bimba says, as a small country with really no significant global presence, membership at the UN Security Council is an opportunity to really advance the causes of the country. The key is making sure a competent person is sent there. Okay. Let's take...
and we have the right kind of people on ground to doing that.
Okay. Welcome. Let's hear you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Julius.
Yes, go ahead.
Julius, thank you for having me on your platform. CRC Mother M. Tupacino of the Intellectual District 14. I want to say good afternoon to your still guests in the library following your show. Well, I want to personally appreciate them, these young people who have, put themselves together to work as a think tank to promote liberal image, both nationally and internationally. Like during your previous show, there are some things we cannot politicize once it comes to liberal or benefiting on an international scene. I think we need to put politics aside. And this is what this government should have done when it came to the ECOWAS president appointing him as coming out to serve as one of its ambassadors to Sierra Leone. I think the government erred previously. We pray and remain optimistic that Liberia will be full of the non-permanent Security Council of the UN. That's how it can end.
Okay. Thanks so kindly. Your line is going back. Let's take Robert Sami, who's in that sector. Robert, welcome.
Yes, thank you, Julius. I'm very happy and for the brilliant presentation by our colleagues. I'm also a member of the board of the think tank. She will be in studio, but I'm not there today with them. But they ably represented the think tank. The think tank has a strategic plan that will run over for 5 years, and part of that is for us to establish ourselves as a credible and visible organization that you can trust in studying diplomacy and promoting Liberia foreign policy. Today, of course, Liberia closes the campaign for the UN Security Council seat.
When did you start this campaign? Because you were at that ministry for some years now.
Actually, it started this year. The campaign started this year.
No, I mean the whole UNSC seat push. When does it start?
It started 2023 from Addis Ababa, from the AU, and went to ECOWAS, and then now so. It started really in 2023, that's the truth. But this administration has taken siege of it, and the minister has worked tremendously well in going out to solicit support. And Liberia is comfortably seated to get more than 100 titled vote next week, Tuesday, June 3, for the election. So all Liberians, we ask all Liberians to join and support the government, because if you ask what Liberia stands to benefit, well, diplomats will understand that diplomacy is about image and prestige. If Liberia sits at the United Nations Security Council, there is no platform in the world that is that prestigious as the United Nations Security Council that is making decisions about peace and security in the world. It is prestigious, yes. So that's going to help Liberia to live our image. Thank you, Julius.
Thanks so kindly, Robert Sami. Let's take a few more. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Julius, this is the voice of Idrissa Somba.
Go ahead.
And I'm phoning from my brother resident. Yeah, on the Inspire Empire movement. Yeah, Julius, I'm so glad for the CM brother in studio. Yeah, because this Mama Liberia, they always speak truth to power and push Mama Liberia forward. This is the only lane we have. We will not go out of the country and be tarnishing the country reputation. We always need to be, over videos to see the progress of our nation. So that come together as one group of people with one patriotism and put our country to the better destination.
Okay, thanks so kindly. This person says, good evening. I highly appreciate your guys honestly answer the following questions. One, how does the recent legal and political impasse in the legislature affect Liberia's chances of getting the non-permanent seat at the UN Security Council, especially considering the fact that the Boakai government didn't honor the Supreme Court's ruling? Two, are some of our partners raising this particular incident along with other related issues with them as they make Liberia's case? Christian A. Brooks with that message. Second to last caller. Welcome. Let's hear you. Hello. Okay, you went off. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Julius.
Yes, go ahead. Let's hear you.
Julius, good evening. And let me say good evening to your guest. Look, my name is Stephen Ito II, and I'm in Monrovia. So, Julius, you just read text and note from someone, right? But let me say that one of the guests said, what happened, back home in country, it cannot affect, Liberia chances, of being a non-permanent member to the Security Council. The reason is because, that I agree with the guest, that all other countries, have their own internal differences. Okay, but then when you are going outside to get global attention, it is only important for you, to come together. Look, when the seed and the tongue were rare, when food ready to enter, when very ready to enter the mouth, the teeth and the tongue can collaborate to eat. So once we have our diversity, but we go on top of global attention, we should come together as seditions, unity party, ANC, and whatever for us to support our country. And I'm optimistic, Julius, that Liberia is going to be seated and is going to be elected and seated as the non-permanent member of the Security Council. But thank you, and thanks to the think tank and for the kind of great job that we have done.
Okay, thanks so kindly as well. We go back to we start with the SG here and then here 1 minute each. SG.
All right, thank you, Julius, for the show, and thanks to the callers. So, the person that just asked this question, whether the impasse in the House, how does that affect our chances for the non-permanent seat? I think that impasse that occurred recently does not have any magnitude to affect our chances as a country for this seat, because at the level of the United Nations, countries that are bidding for this type of position, they don't just look at what is happening to you now. They have to go into your global credentials as a nation. What are you doing at the international stage? What have been your history? And looking at Liberia's history globally, Liberia have demonstrated leadership and more patriotism when it comes to not just Liberia, but the entire Africa. Everywhere Liberia has served at the global stage, Liberia represents the continent. So I think from all of this that Liberia has done over the years, for other nations and ours as Liberians, propel Liberia for this seat. And what I want to say before giving chance to her, this is cardinal for our country, because the last time Liberia served in this capacity was 1961. And since then, it's almost 6 decades now, Liberia has not had a seat. Reasons we cannot beat ourselves for, we know we had our own crisis. That was when other countries came and started moving ahead of us. So I think now is the time that Liberia can make a case again at that level to be able to push our nation.
Okay. Amos?
Well, I'd like to thank you, and as a diplomat and with the work that we do and with the focus of the think tank, I would ask the Texas to give us a chance. There's a research we will launch next week to look at the image it has created for our country, not just with the one of the COFA, but our research will be coming out to looking at since after the war, from the Madam Sally time. I think the only speaker that survived for a 6 year was former Speaker Chambers. So our research is to look at what it has been since Madam Sally time up to President Boakai. So that research is coming out. I asked the Texas to give us a chance to be able to come with the facts in terms of what impact it has caused on the country image diplomatically. However, as we leave your studio, I ask all Liberians to rally, to take onto the social media, and let's give our support to the team that is in New York that is mobilizing the vote. We'd like to say thanks to Minister Yanti for the passions that she has brought to making sure that Liberia image is well respected out there. I also like to encourage us. It's next week Tuesday, the election. My understanding is that the government will be screaming it live at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I don't know whether it's open to the public, but if it's not open to the public, if there will be a channel for which people can watch the vote, I will encourage every Liberian to watch the vote. This is like Liberia is playing the World Cup where we will wear our national colors. I ask all Liberians on Tuesday, wear your national colors. The voting starts at 2 o'clock Liberia time. Let's give the moral support we can give to the team, and let be optimistic that the team will win and that Liberia will be at the table, because when Liberia is at the table, President Bouaka is going to preside at some point in time on the Security Council meeting, and that will be a plus for us as a country. So thank you, Julius. But before that, I like on behalf of the Minister Yanti and us as a think tank, give you this souvenir to help you promote the campaign of the Liberia.
Thanks so kindly.
Yes.
Thanks so kindly. At least if I was in New York, that would be better, but that's okay.
Yeah, but you can still be here and do that too.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Let's go over to Hillary. 30 seconds. The guys, it's your time.
So we want to say thank you to you, Julius, for the platform. We want to also commend Minister Sarah Besley-Yanti for the job well done. I think with a level in the UN where she served as a resident coordinator in Nepal and served as a deputy representative of the United Nations in Sudan. All of these things.
Please. Someone asked a very crucial question that slipped my mind. Who are our
contender?
Yes. Which countries are we competing against?
The way it is done, from my understanding, my most current information, and I'm still researching on that. I think DR Congo, but the way it is done, Liberia is optimistic that she will win. So the process is open. If Liberia cannot get the vote on the floor, another African country can say we can get a vote. But right now, our contender, from what I'm hearing, is DR Congo.
Okay.
Yes. But that is not very clear yet, because
is it the one that is fighting war?
Yeah, the one that is fighting the war.
Yeah, but then we already.
Yeah, but that's one. What I'm hearing, one of the P5 nation is giving the support, but that does not mean that in diplomacy nothing is settled until it is done.
Yeah, until it's done. Okay, yeah.
So, like I said, I want to say thank you to Madam Beslow. I think she's played a very crucial role. She served in the UN for over 20 years, and I think her experience as she brought on board helped us a lot as a country to move as fast as we are. So I want to say thank you to the Liberian people. In fact, we call on last time we didn't see President
so
We are there. We call on President We are and a lot of people to join hands. So there's none about politics. I think there's about our country. So thank you for the platform.
Thanks so kindly, gentlemen. That's how we go. This quick break. Our next guests are coming in.
Attention to all lovers of the good things in life. A house is not a home, and a home is the one place where you should feel relaxed and accomplished. Your home should reflect who you are. So, it's time to make that upgrade with minimal damage to your pockets. And I have the perfect solution for you. Home Sweet Home, located on Benson Street, between Center and Buchanan Streets, got you covered. From the kitchen, we have air fryers, juice makers, pressure cookers, freezers of all sizes, and all the modern kitchenwares you can think about. From the bedroom, we have top-of-the-line, exquisite beddings to give you that great night's sleep, because you have earned it. And soft, comfortable towels for your bathroom. And in the living room, we have high-definition TV sets of all sizes, unique aerial rugs, classy curtains in all the colors you desire, wall paintings of different sizes and colors, furniture, and everything you can think about for the home. All that at unbelievable prices. We even have low voltage, high quality washing machines and dryers to keep your clothes fresh and new at all times. As a bonus, we have fashion accessories for both the young and the old, designer quality bags, hats, and rare jewelries. So if you love yourself, your family, and your home? It's time to treat it right. Visit Home Sweet Home on Benson Street between Center and Buchanan Streets for that needed upgrade. You can call them on 0886 834 944 or 0770 581 420. Home Sweet Home, for the love of a classy home. Your favorite RLJ Kendeja Resort and Villas is new and improved with top-notch first-class services guaranteed to make you feel pampered and special as our royal guests. Ideally located on the RI Highway, a few minutes drive from the rehab junction, right in front of the Atlantic Ocean, you are assured of a peaceful, serene atmosphere of a home away from home. The ingredients for our Liberian meals are freshly picked from our garden to give you that unforgettable taste of Liberian cuisine. Our villas are designed and equipped to ensure every night spent with us is a memorable one. We are well positioned to host conferences and seminars of all sizes, as well as outdoor events like garden weddings and parties. Book your upcoming events and leave the rest for us to handle with 100% satisfaction guarantee. You can reach us on 0770-533-415 or email us at reservations@kendejaresort.com.lr. Visit our website on www.rljkendejaresort.com.lr. RLJ Kendeja Resort and Villas, for memories worth repeating.
Frustrated, deep down in your heart you're devastated. Oh, it's alright. I know you're gonna be alright. I know you've never been here before, so you wanna walk out that door. It's alright. I know you're gonna be alright. I know right now you're kind of losing hope. You don't
Okay, this is the OK Conversation. We have with us some members of the We the People group that wants to stage the July 17 protest. We will speak with Isaac Jackson on the line. Somebody else on the line as well. We have Tatos Pakala in studio, Josh Tengbe. Okay, so we go over to them now to lay the bases. Let's welcome them. Titus, welcome.
Yes, thank you. It's nice being here in your studio.
What is your role in this whole thing?
So, fortunately, I'm the National Protest Director. That just means protest lead or campaign lead.
Okay.
For the July 17 protest.
Okay, Josh.
Yeah, so thank you. Okay. So, Josh S. Tengbe, and I was appointed in the capacity of head of Secretariat for the Enough is Enough protest.
Okay, we have on the line Isaac Jackson, spokesperson. Isaac, welcome.
Hey, Julius, how are you? How are you? It's a pleasure having me, my dear brother.
Ever sprightly, ever ebullient, ever willing to talk. Never tiring.
Absolutely. We are passionate about the cause of our people. And let me say good afternoon, absolutely, to Liberians and friends of Liberia following your show.
How is everything going there?
Oh, doing very well, man. Things are good. God has been good to us, so we're doing very well. We're doing very well.
I look forward
to God for life.
I look forward to seeing you July 17. Are you coming down?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Modalities are being worked out for me to come to the country. As a matter of fact,
to come to your own country, then they got to work out modalities. What kind of modalities need to be worked out?
How you think?
You have a house here. You have a house here. You are a Liberian. You from Grand Bassa. You get a house in Bassa. You get a house in Monrovia. You get family. You're talking about modalities. What kind of modalities?
No, but what the modality intends to address. We will need to rally our people to get, a rousing welcome. And more than that, when I hit the ground, I have planned meetings with former President Salif, one with Ambassador and former President George Weah, and Cabinet Justice Channel. So, all of these things are being worked up by my colleague on the home front to have this meeting before we put the protest into full active gear. So
okay.
yes, these are the modalities that are being worked out.
Okay, good. Now, let me come to those in studio before I come back to you, Isaac. So, do you have the link to be watching and listening?
It's not difficult. Maybe I could be listening, but watching could be difficult because I got one phone. I don't use two phones. And let me say, a hearty welcome to the colleagues on the home front who are in studio. I know Tatus is in studio, and the other colleagues is George.
George is Tingbe.
George Tingbe is in studio, and do you have Samuel Jacob on the phone as well?
I think I will go to him later.
Yeah, but let me just welcome those colleagues. I'm very proud of them. I'm proud of the work.
It is not your responsibility to welcome people on my show. It is my show. I have welcomed them, and that's okay. You are the one joining them because you are on the line. You are the protest expert.
The fact that they left their home to come and participate by sitting in the studio as you were, extend an outstretched hands to them. But it's okay.
Okay.
It's not a bridge that I want to die on anyway. You can welcome them. Welcome all of us.
Okay. Protest expatriate Isaac Jackson. Let me go over to them. Titus, this July 17 protest. First of all, why is it all the way there July 17?
I think we need more time in terms of mobilization in various communities because this is people's protest. It's not for the privileged. It's for people who feel oppressed, people who feel denied to access justice. And so this is why we tend to organize this inclusively and so that we can come out on July 17th. So it's about getting more people involved into the process and having more recruitment and mobilization outcome successful. Yeah. Yeah, so basically that was why we extended the protest to July 17th is because we want to mobilize more people from community-based organizations. We also want to get the very interest group, influence level stakeholders to get involved, and because this protest is about the people, it's not for the most privileged.
Okay, so we'll also hope to hear from a whole lot of the people. I'll just talk to you briefly, go to the public. George, you want to outline some of the reasons for this protest? In fact, give us a background. How did we arrive at this?
Thank you, Julius, right? So basically, the protest came about after sitting back for some time, 1 year and a half more, and we then tried to catalog many of the missteps, the mistakes of the government, for which we have already in previous times written articles, and we have tried to approach the government in the right way, calling for reform, stuff like that, but then nothing was done. So our manifesto which has to do with governance and rule of law, economic mismanagement and social decline, security, police brutality and human rights abuses, weaponization of the judicial branch of government, land rights and property injustice, political accountability and democratic renewal, workers' rights, workers' protections, as we saw in King George. The situation there has not been solved since the death of the protester. We also saw a similar situation of laborer, or someone would say worker died at Seti Steel Company at Chikisu factory from hazardous and toxic waste, and these things has not been talked about, they has not been solved. So from this background, from all of these different kinds of mistakes and missteps from the government, we the people saw the need to present a formal gathering in the form of assembly using our constitutional right as enshrined in at chapter 17 of our constitution, that we should be able to petition our government and make them to hear us.
Okay, let's go across the ocean and speak with Isaac. Different things are happening in the country. Isaac, let me pick your mind a bit on the snow and government of Liberia thing before I come to the different issues about the protest.
Intends to spread poison or hate against a lawmaker of Snow's caliber who represents Liberia as one of its members to ECOWAS, okay, then the government needs to bring receipt. You know, it is a simple aphorism in law that says he who alleges the fact must prove it. You know, I don't see why the government is making a big deal of something that Mr. Snow himself has denied. But let's assume, we're not admitting that Mr. Snow must have wished Mr. Bwaka ill omen. What is there to be angry about? They say, well, witches were what? If witches were horses, beggar would ride them. If witches could make you happy, people will have several witches, right? So it's just an aspiration. But why would anybody want to wish Mr. Bwaka excellent? Mr. Bwaka, as we speak, president of Liberia, these people like to celebrate, right? The World Bank report, World Bank this day, World Bank Sunday. Do you know the latest World Bank report on Liberia? Know what it says? It places Liberia among the 10 poorest countries the world over. 10. 2.3 million of Liberians go to bed on empty stomach. President Bwaka, what is he doing? He's indulging in extreme opulence. He rides $1 million bulletproof Jeep for the first time in the history
that really hasn't been proven. He's not driving $1 million bulletproof Jeep. No.
If you say it is not $1 million, Julius, at least it is a super luxury Jeep. There can be no debate about its nature, right?
Yeah, sure, but in terms of the figure, no.
The fact that the government is not transparent about the cost of that car, it leaves all of us to speculate. But all that I can say to you, which is a truth that cannot be discounted, is that the car Mr. Bwaka rides is a super luxury car. One would wonder why did Mr. Bwaka dismiss the guy from Commerce when he himself would be complicit in the same moral dilemma. So where is the integrity?
The man actually resigned.
Julius, the man was actually resigned by Mr. Bwaka. Mr. Bwaka followed all that resignation with a statement. What did he say? He could ride a wheelbarrow to go to job, right? That was the way he put it. But if the president who said he could ride a wheelbarrow, seeing his people, the World Bank report said we are among the 10 poorest countries in the world, and you want to, some of the people who even try to, take a swing at Mr. Snow, these people are supposed to be in political powder, right? P-U-R-D-A-H is the word. political party.
What does it mean?
Their hair in sheen. These were the same people who tried
What
to
does
take Bwaka.
what does pada mean? What does political pada mean?
Political party is what is that person should be in political seclusion. They should hide themselves in shame. Because these same people who try to say, oh, Mr. Snow, it's not fair to be a central bodyguard, they have to inflate this 80-year-old demon on Nigeria.
No, please, sir.
Anybody?
Hello, sir. Let us avoid using certain words, especially on the president. You know.
Julius.
Yeah.
Is it not demonic that we have a president in the face of a 2024 Global Hunger Index report that classified Liberia to have the highest level of hunger among poor countries? For that president to do nothing about the welfare of the people, to fly a private jet, should we not say it's demonic?
Well, I cannot quantify that. That is, if you talk about it being demonic, that's in a spiritual context, and we can understand what it is. But let us come to the protest. What are some reasons that you think that are genuine for which Liberians should come out to send a message to the government? And how is the protest going to look like?
So let's put the issue of the protest in proper context.
Mm-hmm.
The protest intends to show sufficient light on Bwaka's systemic betrayal of the confidence and trust of our people. As we speak, Liberia democracy is on its deathbed, and the protest intends to resuscitate Liberia democracy. That's the first thing the first protest seeks to do, right? But why do we want to resuscitate our democracy? Because Mr. Bwaka has shown to us that he is averse to the rule of law. He doesn't respect the rule of law. And the rule of law is cardinal to any and every democratic recipe. Bwaka took an oath to uphold the Constitution. When Bwaka decided
but sir,
disregard the Supreme Court's opinion, it was an assault on Nigeria democracy.
Is our democracy not? Is our democracy? Yes, I'm asking. Is our democracy not on course? We just held a by-election in Nimba County that was relatively peaceful and transparent, and the results came out. We have a functional legislature now. We have the executive functioning. We have the judiciary functioning. So, what is the real issue of the democracy?
No, the democracy is on a deathbed when Bwaka and his people celebrate and dance over the grave of democracy. Why do we say so? When the president is accused, and I think even 6-year-old child in the country can testify to the fact that for democracy to thrive anywhere the world over, the cardinal ingredient that must be observed is what? Accountability. Today, we have a legislature or a speaker of a legislature that came as a result of an orchestrated coup financed by Mr. Bwaka.
Allegedly.
Gave our democracy any semblance of accountability. If you and any other person in Liberia believe that the guy who declared himself as speaker of the regime will hold Mr. Bwaka accountable, then you got to be daydreaming. So democracy is not served when the legislature pivot towards the executive, or when the executive controls what happens in the legislature. That's not accountability. Is that a functioning democracy? Because the three branches of government.
But is that going to rally the masses of the people to come out? Usually, protests get the kinds of numbers of people. If there are issues about the economic situations of the people, or issues that are directly threatening to them, issues of Capitol Hill with lawmakers that they generally already have issues with, may not really rally them. Don't you think so?
No, No, I disagree politely, but here's what we're doing. We have to put the conversation in proper context. No democracy works adequately for the people with all the respect for the law. If the president cannot respect the law, how does the democracy work for our people? The other thing I want to draw your attention to, and which I did when I tried to talk about the snow thing, was firstly, there's a report, a global hunger report. How can you say this doesn't, it doesn't have bearing on the Liberian people? The global hunger report says what? It classified Liberia's level of hunger as serious. So it meaning that the vast majority of our people, 71.7% of our people, go to bed on empty stomach. Can that not rally our people? And why that large number of people go to bed on empty stomach? What is Mr. Bwaka and his people doing? 3,000 of the public money go to one of Bwaka's stooges generator. Imagine if we were to pay 1,000 of that money that goes to Mr. Honor to a market woman. It will improve her standard of living, right? Today, that's what Bwaka doing. Bwaka's son is inherently corrupt. He has his finger in almost all the contract in the country, including what the Nekote, right? So I am just saying to you, these are things that should make our people to stand up. One of the reasons why our people should stand up is Mr. Bwaka has deliberately violated Article 18 of the Liberian Constitution. What does Article 18 of the Constitution say? Article 18 of the Constitution speaks against employment discrimination. It said all Liberians should be entitled to what? White. When Bwaka took over, people who were believed to be seditious, even the EPS and the civil service, they were dismissed routinely. That's not the way the government is supposed to work. It should not work against the people because they belong to political parties. So we are calling on those people to stand up for their rights. The people who were dismissed by Bwaka unfairly, they should stand up. We are calling on those people that the government is not discriminating against. Our motto back rather. Today, the capital city of Monrovia is what? Segregated. They say no motor bar rider should go to the capital. It should be only for what? The bourgeoisie. And the peasant motor bar rider should not go there. So we're calling on the motor bar rider to stand up for their right.
Okay.
Everybody who plow the streets of Liberia should be what? Accountable for what? Traffic regulation.
Okay. Let me
empowered by the traffic regulation. If they committed traffic infraction, the law should apply. But you can't say motor bar riders should not come to Monrovia. It should be only for coastal wearers or people who are big shots. That's wrong. You see, so we are calling on our people to stand up for their rights. Article 5 of the Liberian Constitution also says the president, the executive should not promote political tribalism.
Okay. Let me hold you there and come back to your colleagues in
political tribalism actively.
Okay.
Which is excluding the vast majority of our people from the executive governance of the country. This country is not for Bwaka and Helofa people. It's wrong. The same thing that Mr. Bwaka witnessed in 7 that when he transported to Liberia. Not that he's just promoting tribalism, he has even sectionalized the country. Today, the vast majority of the people serving in the Bwaka administration from the central northern region of the country.
Okay.
Nimba and Lofa. Wrong. The Constitution speaks against sectionalism. That's wrong. If we want a new Liberia, we want a Liberia of Julius Niwari, Tanzania, where we left the entire country, not a section and not a tribe. That's what the protest seeks to address.
Okay, hold on, Isaac. Thanks so kindly. Let me
on the government to do right.
Let me come back to your colleagues in studio. Tatos, to tell us how is it going to look like? I mean, the organization of it on July 17. What do we expect to see? And are the authorities already aware? And how are people gathering from where to where and all of that?
So we've already been mobilizing community actors. We have different coordinators, district coordinators. We have District 14, District 9. I mean, all of the districts in Montserrat County. And so on July 17, we're going to be assembling. We'll communicate that prior to the date. That is when we're in July already, and maybe a day or 2 days to the protest when we can tell them the specific area of assembling. So, but for now, we've been mobilizing community actors. We've been mobilizing different political groups as well because they're interested. There are people who feel their rights were violated, to have been dismissed from their job. And so they also ask us to be part of the protest. And so we're also here to accommodate them. And victims and survivors of sexual and gender-based violence, of course, you're aware that in 2024, Liberia recalls 2,759 rape cases. That's according to the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection. And 68% of that number came from Mosurado County, and that is 1,902 rape cases. So people are concerned, motorists, motorcyclists, the keke people, the market women, they're going to be part of us on July 17th. So initially I intimated that it is people's protest, not just for the well-privileged and, or political people. So it's a protest that sent a message to the government in terms of holding them accountable for the mysterious deaths we've encountered in Liberia. Could you imagine with Amanda Nimbo, of course, on April 14, 2024, was mysteriously murdered. Maurice Goma on July 2, 2024, was also murdered. So these are reasons why people are coming out, and we've well organized in terms of the team. We have communication team as well set up.
Okay. Now, Josh, sometimes the fear people have about violence, about how the police will handle protests and all that kind of thing. How can you assure people of their safety if they should come out?
Thank you, Julius. So the thing is, the way indeed we have organized and we are still organizing this protest, we believe is going to be peaceful, and everyone coming out to support us will have a very peaceful march towards the capital, because the intention is to present our petition. But we have already organized the protocol teams. We have different sort of protocol teams, like we have the crowd control, we have the team from the barracks of the educators, we have the team from the barracks of the first aid, we have the team from the barracks, I mean, every section that leads to a peaceful protest, those different types of procedures and protocols we follow, they have been earmarked, and we are going to use that to work in conjunction with the police, because the thing is, when we are going out, the police themselves will be there, and we believe that we will help the police, and the police will be supportive of our march. So everything.
Are you really sure we have huge numbers of people coming out?
Julius, let me say this to you. Take for an example, you have over 10,000 motorbikes just in Mosurado County. Let's just say for an example. And then each of those motorists or motorcyclists whose bikes were confiscated, taken from them by force by the police because they applied certain route that they were not to apply after the no-go zone policies were initiated. Now, what the government through the Liberia National Police refused to do is, I'm driving a taxi. If I violate traffic offense, they stop me, they ask me for my driver's license, they give me a ticket, and they tell me to go pay. But if a motorcyclist does that, they beat him, they hit on him, they brutalize him, they destroy his bike, or they take his bike, and they allow him to go in pain. So, are you telling me they see money that the motorcyclist pay for insurance, they see money he pay for his license, for his document, he don't have right to for you to afford him the same treatment that you give to the taxi driver? So the motorcyclists alone, they are already agitated, and they are willing to come up with us. Now, that is just one part of it. Take for an example, the street vendors, those whose market have been taken away from them on a daily basis. They also are going to come up and present their petition to the government. And not only that, they help workers. I have been to JFK of recent time. I was sick. I was there, Julius. It will surprise you to know that people who go there to the hospital for treatment, they're sitting down in chairs on the ground to be treated. Are you saying that our health sector cannot be rescued? Are you saying that medical medicines cannot be supplied to them on time? Are you also saying that the salaries you promised them through increment? Because during the campaign, we remember many things. Harmonize my salary and harmonize your vote. And that statement particularly came from the health sector. So we were hoping to see that the Barakat administration, under our president, going to increase at least the health worker salary by 15%. Sadly, that has not been done, and our health sector is still poor, and the treatment for people is not provided on time. So, Julius, all of these situations, not to just even mention the current influx of students from private schools to public schools, because parents can no longer afford money to pay their children's school fees. Are you not seeing that as an economic challenge situation where children now are more breadwinners for their family than the previous time? So are these not reasons for us to come out? Are these not reasons for us to understand that this protest is necessary? A pregnant woman was just brutally beaten to death by a police officer. That alone, if it was in any serious country, I think for free, was going to spark a protest for more than 5 days.
Okay.
But she was brutalized and killed, and nothing happened. Not a single person from the civil society organizations, from all of these women voices that we have in this country, came out to protest for that day. 2 lives were taken in one day, and you say we should not protest? You say we should not come up in our large numbers?
Okay, Isaac, just 1 minute before I go to the lines for you to wrap up.
Yes, so one of the person who will bring into quick focus is James Baldwin, right? James Baldwin said, when you love deeply, you will fight in time and space and you will win. Nobody who genuinely loves Liberia will see Liberia languaging among the 10 poorest country in the world and watch the president enjoy extreme opulence and don't get offended. If you really love Liberia, it's now is the time to stand up and join the protest and ride on the shoulders of great world leaders like Mandela, like Dr. King, like our own Gabriel Bacchus Matthew. As we speak, one thing I need to bring to the consideration of our people is that today, when Mr. Bacchus' wife gets sick, they fly her out of the country. The other time I heard she had headed, they flew her to Ghana. Today in Liberia, you saw the video trending. A pregnant woman was constrained to give birth in a makeshift structure right in Pinsville. The College Institute just talked about how a pregnant woman was being beaten to death. Your NSA has somebody who is a murderer maniac, who have no problem opening pregnant woman's womb. They call him Blighy, General butt naked. Why do you think Liberia should not stand up and say no? You know, Winston Churchill is quoted, he's quoting Alexander the Great in one of his many speeches. You know what he said? He said, Alexander the Great remarked that the people of Asia were enslaved because they did not learn how to pronounce the word no. If Liberians do not learn to pronounce the word no and say enough is enough, this thing that Mr. Bouaka has started will continue.
Okay.
We have to say no.
On the issue of Joshua Blighy, I know him to be a man of God. Now I don't know him to be working for the NSA.
But he's a man of God. He's a man. He claimed. Listen. Let me say this. He claimed to be a man of God, but a recent report, when the police did the disgraceful thing regarding the so-called arson attack on the Capitol building, police arrested people. Instead of charging them, they sent them to Blighy for torture. The NSA
was Blighy involved in it? Are you saying he was involved? Does he work for the NSA?
Oh yeah, he's the deputy chief there. Are you aware, brother? But General Bodnigger is the deputy there. Are you aware?
I don't know.
He's there. He's there. Since you don't know now, let me say to you.
Okay.
But one other thing that should concern Liberia, before you go to the land, one other thing that should concern Liberia is the damning level of unemployment in the country. The incompetent minister of labor announced that 90% of Liberians are unemployed. And what did he decide to do? He gave 8,000 per month to a foreigner. What job they coming to now, brother? These are incompetence level that the Liberian people should not sit down. They should
Okay.
say no.
Okay.
No, Mr. Barker, we can't stand the level of incompetence.
Thanks so kindly, Isaac. When you are back in country, I'll have you in the studio.
Personal gain.
Okay. Thanks so kindly. We'll hold you there. Isaac, you can follow via the link. Let's take a few calls. 777-700-995, 555-995-995 are the numbers to call, and you will be through. Let's come on this side. Let's see who's right here. Welcome. Let's hear you. Welcome. Let's hear you. Hello. Yes, go ahead. Let's hear you.
My name is Julius. I'm calling about New Zealand. Let me just thank you for hosting your studio guest. I think these people who are who are project, they don't have no more ground to cover any project in Labrador. In Labrador, I get an ear.
Why?
Why? They tell who are having the project in person or people are sensing up there. You know, have no more ground to say. There's no power. The power level in the last 4 years, we get power. The new power that people get, they want to come back.
That who you give power? That who you give power for 12 years?
We get citizen power for 12 years.
You give citizen power for 12 years? Okay, thanks so kindly. Welcome. Let's hear you. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Prince Mario. I joined all the things in chocolate in the afternoon. Let me appreciate you, Julius. I think the project is necessary. Look, the last 4 had for the gas studio that left the studio. He said there was no political prisoner for which Labrador is capable of committing to the seat. I agree with them, but they were forgetting to know that while the political prisoner, they said, well, Carrasco went to jail. Now, we will come out in our numbers. We will protest. We will care if person with popular of Liberia is not enough, is enough.
Okay, let me hold you that. We'll have to take a few more people. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Thank you, Julius J. This is Joseph Blake.
Mm-hmm.
And I just appreciate the fact that we got journalists like yourself that are able to, checkmate people when they are giving false and fallacy information on in the public dealer. And I just love the way you checkmated Isaac Jackson. And for each time that you try to correct him, he fumbles and falls to another fallacies. Look, for the fact that even I'm hearing Isaac Jackson's voice, it tells me that the protest is dead upon arrival.
It is people's right to protest if they want to come out, and any group of people.
That is what I wanted to have said earlier. I support anyone that wants to protest on genuine issues. There is absolutely nothing wrong with protesting. Look, I supported this government, but if this government is going wrong and there is a protest that I think the government needs to wake up, Julius J, I will be one of the first person that will be on the street to do that protest peacefully. Look, if anybody wants to protest against the illicit mining rights that we have with all this concession company, I will lead that protest against my own government. But look, listen to the guys. They are incoherent. They don't even know what they are saying. They are fumbling over words because whatever they are listing down is like a pre-script that has been written, and they are reading from a script. Look, protest, like you said, Julius, you are trying to guide them through. Protest is birthed out of hardship when people are dissatisfied. The June 17th protest that happening under the CDC regime, it didn't take 3 months for announcement. It was like 2 weeks. But people came in their numbers because the situations on the ground were appalling and people needed to let the government know.
Okay.
You guys are sitting out playing protest for 3 months. I dare you, more than 300 persons will not come on the streets.
Okay.
Your protest is dead upon arrival because of Isaac Jackson.
Okay, thanks so kindly. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Julius.
Mm-hmm.
Good evening.
Yes, go ahead. Let's hear you quickly.
Excellency President Walker. Someone take over from Prophet 17. So, I don't here to respond to the recitation for these people. So all I can say to them, July 17, let people be celebrating consistent LSE in the country. July 17, let people be celebrating the road connectivity across the country. July 17, let people be celebrating the Minister of Foreign Affairs for bringing back our diplomatic passport into the country. July 17 will be celebrating responsible and personality in government where we have now. We don't have
Where will your celebration take place?
I mean, across the country, they will be on a few, we will be celebrating who are working places. So
okay, thanks. So kindly, let's take another person. Welcome, let's hear you.
Good afternoon, Julius.
Yes, quickly.
It was expensive and Joe in tomorrow. And I've already called that before, or I just wish to call this. You know the reason why I never for me? It's because of me, I said just never be around for me. That's why really maybe I never for me to be friends. You look, man, I said just me had a mind that will come away and talk right now. Talk. This is me that you hit. So if you talk about
is it not his right to protest?
Julius, that's also my brother. You, Julius, if you call a protest, yeah, maybe ever you will show some interest because you pretend a little bit of, being responsible, being a little bit, independent. But I say just, all people that president, we are removing from the West and in the UK, when you are again, 24 hours, and carry the kids to go and all the kids, you want the kids, nobody will go reinstate it. They the same as the just now supporting President. We are
okay. Yeah, quickly, we don't have time.
Let me say this: everybody has their right to protest. The people can feel, they can know the experience. The country is getting better.
Okay, country is getting better. Welcome, let's hear you.
I'm Musa Kamara calling from Broad Street.
Go ahead.
As it doesn't looking for popularity. Like in Ghana, we're not here to come in. Anybody promoting the country again like Henry Costa. So like in Ghana.
Yeah. But the man said you come in, you say that in Ghana.
We're not promoting anybody in the country again. Our country will take just anymore, but I thanks for what he carry on. And
okay.
we'll not to appreciate him for our work doing.
Okay, thanks so kindly. Welcome, let's hear you.
Hello?
Yes, quickly.
Yeah, okay. For the guys that are trying to debunk the issue of the protest because of the...
What is your name?
This is Lloyd King. I call from Canasville. All right. And this is not about the people that are spearheading the protest. The protest is about the inhumane treatment that Liberians are receiving. Number one, the president, in his own right, and I don't know whether he was in the right frame of thinking to really destroy the constitution of this. In fact, the protest is long overdue. It was that very day that you are taken to the street.
Okay. Thanks so kindly. We go back to them. 30 seconds each. We start with you. We'll come to Titus.
Julius, so let me say this. I agreed with the last caller. On the very day that the president overused his power by interfering in the impasses at the House of Representatives, that very day the Liberian people should have come out to protest. On the very day when that pregnant lady was brutalized and beaten to death by the police officer, that very day the Liberian people should have come up to protest. When Liberians lost their jobs because they belong to one political party going against Chapter 18 of our Constitution, that very day Liberians should have come up to protest. When our president declared during his campaign and said that he will never ride private jet, and in fact he supported his statement by coming up to say that he will ride wheelbarrow to go to the executive mansion, that very day Liberian people should have stood up to protest.
Status.
For me, beyond abstract economic statistics, the realities are there. Go to West Point, go to Newcastle, go to Clareton, Sony, when the people will tell you that, in fact, they are suffering and they want to be part of this protest. So July 17, they will come out. Okay,
thanks so kindly, gentlemen. We go. Tomorrow will be another day right here on the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. My name is Julius J. We are out.